Waterford goalkeeper Stephen O'Keefe returns to the number 1 jersey for the championship, having had little or no involvement in the Alliance Hurling League. It's a very strong inner line of defence, with Shane Fives and Noel Connors in the corners. Barry Coughlin has recovered from a facial injury in a club game earlier this season and is back in the full-back jersey. A vibrant, powerful half-back line is crucial, and Waterford certainly have one. Tadhg de Burka, Austin Gleeson and Philip Manny must be one of the best 5, 6 and 7 in the game. 4 Mile Water is a beautiful part of County Waterford, and they uniquely provide both midfielders for the Daisha. This is Jamie Barron and Conor Gleeson territory. The half-forward line is a lethal cocktail of young and old, with 30-year-old Kevin Moran on the wing. In the centre is Ballygunner's Pádraig Mahoney and under-21 All-Ireland medalist from last year, Stephen Bennett, on the other wing. Michael Brick Walsh now resides at the edge of the square, with the youngest Bennett Shane in one corner, while Maurice Shanahan is a late replacement for Dara Fives. He won All-Stars in 2012 and 2013, and 4 years later, the Kenturkman is still a vibrant goalkeeper and is clearly Cork's number 1. It's Anthony Nash. Glen Rovers are Cork County champions, and they supply cornerback Stephen McDonnell. He joins Damien Cahalan and Colm Spillane in a strong back three. Christopher Joyce and Mark Ellis have impressive CVs, but the real jewel in the Cork crown against Tipperary was left-back Mark Coleman from Blarney. He's only 19. Youghal and Charleville may be in opposite parts of County Cork, but put them together in hurling and they make a formidable force. Bill Cooper is the Youghal connection, while Dara Fitzgibbon represents Charleville and North Cork with pride. Conor Lahan was a very doubtful starter due to an ankle injury, but the good news is he has made the starting 15. Luke Meade will operate on the right wing, while 19-year-old Shane Kingston, the manager's son, will wear number 12. The Cork full forward line clearly has massive potential. Alan Cadigan starts at top of the right. Seamus Harnedy will hover near the opponent's goal, while the second Glen Rovers man, Patrick Horgan, will complete the Cork team. Well, Cork are making huge progress under the direction of this man, Kieran Kingston. Well, Waterford are that bit more experienced and are seeking that 3rd Munster final in a row since Derek McGrath became Waterford manager.
Derek, it's been a long wait for this. I mean, how have you spent the last 11 weeks getting ready?
Yeah, look, the first 3 weeks the lads were with their clubs. Obviously, then the last 8 weeks just been preparing for one game. So one basket, no excuses. So we're ready. We think we're ready anyway, you know.
Well, I read John Milan saying yesterday that this is your biggest game for 3 years. Is he right?
I don't know. John, I mean, he's a brother-in-law of mine, so I'm not sure he wouldn't have said that to me. But yeah, look, it probably is in terms of the natural growth of the team, I suppose. You know, I think National League and we've been competing in Munster Championship. I think this is a game, kind of a defining game for us, I feel like. And look, we've made no bones of it. That's the pressure we've put on ourselves. But, you know, we're hoping to react to that pressure, and the pressure will liberate us. Good performance, hopefully, you know.
Obviously, you had this huge win over Tip. Do you think you'll find the same sort of space out there today against Waterford?
A lot has been spoken about that, and a lot has been written, and it's a bit of a frenzy around it. But like, we've tried to concentrate on ourselves. We have to play our own game. Certainly not going to be over-focused on what any opposition bring to the table, because that distracts from what our game is about. We'll try and play our game as best we can, with obviously over the last number of weeks from what we may be presented with. But we haven't over-focused on that. We try to get our own house in order and, as I say, concentrate on the controllables.
But obviously you have to adjust accordingly depending on how Waterford are set up.
Yeah, well, look, yeah, we've certainly spoken and trained as to what things may happen. But as I said, they might have to adjust as well to see how we go.
Kieran, thanks very much. Best of luck.
Yeah.
That's the view of the two managers. Liam Sheedy, one of the peculiarities, I suppose, of the GAA Championship is you have one county starting their championship today, and you have another county who have already had a big game behind them. How much of a factor is that?
Definitely, Michael. I think that's a very, very important point. Only 4 times since 2000 has the team that's starting in the semi-final with their first outing today have managed to win.
Yes.
That tells its own story. So there is no substitute for match practice. And I mean, for Cork, they had 5 debutants the last day against Tip. I think the level of performance that they got from 5 guys that were stepping into what is the cauldron of the Munster Championship thing was phenomenal. So I suppose that's what makes today really intriguing. You know, you've got Waterford, who have been, you know, dining at the top table now for the last number of years, but haven't managed to get over the line. So I think Derek is right. It's a massive match for Waterford. I think they've, you know, the winners today are straight into a Munster final, and they're into the last 6 All-Ireland series. So, like, it is a massive match, and I expect real fireworks here in a few minutes.
Ken McGrath, the question that everybody's been asking all this week is, can Cork repeat the performance that they put up against Tipperary the last day? And certainly if they score the way they did against Tip that day, then it'll be very hard to see them stopped.
Look, I think that's different the way they played Cork played this year. You see Mark Coben coming out, looking up, heads up, hurling as such, a bit of space in front of Shane Harnedy. He looked like he's back to kind of Seamus Harnedy of 2013 form when he burst on the scene. And to me, they have different scoring options in attack. And you'll see from all the different scores here, there's high balls in, there's low balls. There's Mark Ellis again, Bill Cooper. Plenty of space again, having a quick look up. Look, you'd love Bill to that as well. And I don't think you get that space today, but a good low ball in front of Alan Cadigan. That's where probably Waterford will try and cut that out by using the sweeper, and that's what we're talking about for the last probably few weeks. But like Cadigan, Harnedy, they do different things. Harnedy going high ball in the air, Cadigan in front of him. Here's Fitzgibbon who had a great first game. Shane Kingston following on the runner next to him. Got him into the game. He was quite enough up to that, but he's moving with the ball, a good score. It reminds us something similar to the 04-05 Cork team. And that's what I was impressed with Cork. They mix things up. You see Nash going short here. Heads up hurling again in front of Harnedy. Patrick Horgan in the corner, who to me was probably been burdened with the scores over the last few years. And with the other lads playing well next to him, he's free enough to play his own game, and he needs an inch of space. And that's a different way of attacking again with him. And to me, the commanding match from last week, I'm very impressed with Conor Lehan. To me, he's great potential. He can be one of the top players in the country, and he exploded last week, 4 weeks ago against Tip. And I don't know if we get that space again. As good as attacking Cork where they are, equally Tipper is bad defending. So I don't think Waterford will give that space. I don't think they'll be as easy going. I'd say they'll be hands-on markers and very aggressive. I think that's where they have to be to try and counteract that. But I was impressed with Cork. I saw them in the league in March. I came away that day saying they'll have a say in the championship, and so far they've proved me right.
Well, so far they have. 2 years ago, I was here at the Munster final, and I was a spectator that day. And I was looking at Waterford play in that, and I was saying to myself, they cannot win this match. They cannot win this match the way they're set up. Have they changed in the past 2 years, Tomas?
No, for me they haven't changed, and they have a team of potential. And look, I've put up on the screen the team and the way they set up. And look, you see Tyg de Borca, he's the sweeper, and we've put a symbol on him there, right? And you just see he's just covering in behind. He's waiting for the breaking ball. He's very intelligent the way he reads the game, and he's shifting between the half-back line, and he gets his clearances and stuff like that. Here we see it again, right, a match against Clare. You can even hear from the sideline the shouts, watch behind, stand behind, and here he is waiting and ready to pick up the ball. And he does an awful lot of damage for a lot of the opposing forward line when he's in this vein of form, and like he's the man that links up with Jimmy Barrett in midfield to take the ball forward, and they go forward in droves. But here's last year's Munster final below in Limerick, and this is Tipperary. So how did Tipperary counteract it? They put a man marker on Tyg de Borca. They put Padraig Marr, Bomber Marr. So he had his hands full looking after Bomber Marr all day. He gave him no space. He gave him no time on the free ball. And this isn't the best ball to go into a Tipperary full forward line. It's a high ball. But what they had ability to grab it off the air to win it. And then they had runners coming from everywhere. And Tip got 4-12 in that second half period. So I think Waterford, and you look at the last shot here is Derek McGrath himself, and he was kind of saying to people, do you stay back or do you go now at that stage? You know, there's a lot of goals gone in, and I just wonder over the last couple of weeks, have they changed that, Ken, or are they still in that system or in that frame of mind? I think watching Cork and the way they played against Tip, no doubt there might be Tyg de Borca. There'll be an extra man back there and stuff like that, and they will look to close that space from the puck outs, from everything, because of what Cork did against Tip.
Another man joining us here on the programme at the moment is Donald O'Grady. Donald is down pitch side, and I presume looking forward, Donald, to this match as much as the lads here in studio. Look, like Tomas, you have the inside on where things are at down in Cork at the moment. What's the mood in Cork about this present Cork team?
Well, the mood generally, Michael, is that, you know, Cork have no expectations really. They're coming here with a bit of hope. I think they saw against Tipperary that there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and they see there's a future there. So I think they'll be happy enough to get another good performance in this game. The thing, of course, exercising the fans' minds all the week was the state of health of Conor Lehan, who had such a great game against Tipperary. Yeah. Well, I'm close to the action here. I was watching him in the warm-up. He seemed to be going through his warm-up without any great difficulties. I feel that Waterford will stick maybe Conor Gleeson on him as a man-marking role and have Tyg de Borca maybe pick up the slack and Jimmy Barron covering from defence, while obviously the question of where they'll play Austin Gleeson is one exercising the minds of Cork as well. I think he'll be in the half-forward line, possibly centre or maybe on the right. So lots of questions to be answer. Great atmosphere building. You know, it's like back in the 10, 12 years ago Cork and Waterford games. Fantastic atmosphere. You know, very little wind. So I'm expecting a great game. A great contest more than an open game. Expecting a big battle.
Donald O'Grady, I have never seen Cork people going to a big match without expectations. Come on here.
Another son of a Zoom took Michael.
All right, we're getting ready to go soon. The two teams are starting to get into the parade. So let's get the final thoughts of the three lads here in studio. All things considered, Liam, what kind of a game are we likely to get here today, given the conditions for a start? And we don't want to overemphasise that, but as everybody's been saying, it's a very warm, dry day here.
Yeah, I think space will be at a premium. I don't think Waterford, Tip allowed. It was a shootout the last day between Tip and Cork. That certainly will play to Cork's strengths, I feel, because they have really good forwards and they will shoot you down,
Yeah.
I think you'll see it more. That Waterford will be very anxious to keep it tight, really try and dictate the terms on the way they want this game played. But I think it's very important for Waterford that they do make sure they always have a presence in on the inside line. I think that has been a failing of this Waterford team. Sometimes they all get sucked back out. So I think if Waterford can I suppose, impose themselves onto this Cork team, I think they major shaded on today.
There were a lot of great performances for Cork the last day, Tomas, but Conor Lehane still was man of the match in the whole thing, so a key figure the last day.
Yeah, and I don't agree with Donald's comments about the belief side of things. I think there's massive belief after coming into this team, particularly after having a win over Tipperary in the Munster Championship game. Guys that were favourites to go on and retain the All-Ireland by everybody at that stage, and they were given no hope coming into Thurles, right? So I think that will have given them serious belief as a unit. The Cork public, they can all have their opinions on that. What's going to be required today for Cork is exactly the same what they did against Tipperary, with probably a little bit more up on top of it. And I think the key here is for them is the start they get again. Them keep themselves in the game. Put pressure on that Waterford defence. Put pressure on those guys to change their system that they're involved in. And if they do that, they're in a hell of a chance of winning this game, I believe.
Ken, we saw your old colleague down on the sideline there, Dan the man. They've made a change on this team. Morris coming in, of course. What do you make of that?
Yeah, look, that's more positive. It's a bit more of a tackling trait there with Morris. I'm saying we will use the sweeper. I'd say Ty the Burke will sit back, but one sweeper is not the end of the world as such. Once you leave 5 forwards up, you need to attack. Look, I watched that Cork Tip game a month ago. I know this might sound silly, but you forget how exciting hurling is.
Yeah.
This is one of the most instinctive games in the world. Leave the lads out and leave them play. I know the hurling's in this Water team. This reminds you of 10, 12 years ago. A lot of them team would have grown up watching them games.
Yeah.
Brick played them. But I'd love to see the lads going and having the right cut. Look, this is huge with Kilkenny and Tip in the back door. No one wants to get on that road,
I think it is going to be huge. I think you're right on that one. All right, then, let's go over to the commentary box to join Marty Morrissey and Michael Duignan.
Thank you very much, Michael. Some of the most exciting, exhilarating games we've been privileged to experience over the last 18 years has been between these neighbouring counties. Of course, you remember. What about the passion and drama of the days when one of our analysts today, Ken McGrath, and Tony Brown beside him, were whipping long, high balls down the field to the likes of John Milan and Paul Flynn? These were the days when Donal Cusick, Sean O'Halpine, John Gardner and Joe Dean were the stars of the Rebel County. Cork and Waterford have met 16 times in the championship since 1999. Cork winning 7, Waterford celebrating 6 times. Just so you know, they've drawn 3 times in that period, 0-7, 2010 and 2014. That statistic alone would suggest that perhaps we're heading towards another draw. The last clash 2 years ago in the championship, Waterford won by 4. Big concern, as you know, was whether Conor Lehane would be fit enough to play after twisting his ankle in training just yesterday, 2 weeks. In fact, he was on crutches at one stage, but the good news is he starts at centre forward. His direct opponent, Austin Gleeson, was the GPA Young and Senior Hurler of the Year last season. He had a quiet league as Waterford manager Derek McGrath rested him for significant periods. It is a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere in Semple Stadium. I haven't experienced a day like this for quite a long time. We've had a lot of games. But Cork and Waterford, Michael Duignan, they bring out the best in each other normally.
They do, Marty, and I think there's a huge excitement in Cork in particular. They've been down for a while now, but a brilliant display here the last day against Tipperary, putting up a huge score of 227, and you can see it in the crowd. I would say the Cork crowd maybe 2-1 dominating the Waterford crowd. There must be 35 to 40,000 here. Brilliant atmosphere, great day. The pitch is absolutely in fantastic condition. Dan Shanahan and Dermot O'Sullivan are both togged out down there in shorts, ready to go on if they're needed. So look, it's going to be about the tactics. I think you're going to see Austin Gleeson moving to centre forward. possibly only playing with 4 forwards, with Stephen Bennett in the half-forward line and with maybe Maurice Shannon and Shane Bennett inside. You'll have Michael Walsh and Kevin Moore dropping out around the middle of the field, and Conor Gleeson dropping back to pick up Lahan with Tyke de Burke going a sweeper. So it won't be the same open game, but in that heat, those tactics could go out the window. There's going to be a lot of room out there.
We pause here in Semple Stadium for this Munster Hurling Championship semi-final for our national anthem, Aránaví. The backdoor route is already looking quite intimidating when you consider last year's All-Ireland finalists Tipperary and Kilkenny have joined Limerick and Dublin. Not a place you really want to go to, is it? Clare, meanwhile, are waiting in the Munster final. Either way, it's some championship, and thankfully, it's only Sunday, June 18th, 2017. Cork won the toss. They decided to play from right to left as we look at it. The flags are over the scoreboard. It's not often you come to Thurles, and they're absolutely limp. Barry Kelly is the match referee. The game is on, and it's Cork with the sliotar, and the first free is indeed for Waterford. Good work on this occasion by Jamie Barron, putting the pressure on Bill Cooper, who clearly took too many steps.
Yeah,
the first free, Michael?
Yeah, Pádraig Mahoney, the free last year will be remembered against Kilkenny that he dropped short, but normally a brilliant free taker. Great pressure, as you say, by Jamie Barron, and this is an important one now to settle Pádraig Mahoney.
He's just outside his own 65-metre line. This is dropping short, just to the left of the post. Going out there is Mark Ellis from Mill Street, playing it short. As Cork work the sliotar out, comes for his Damien Cahalane, West Cork man. Castlehaven footballer, St. Finbarr's hurler. Under pressure, Barry Coughlin. Ball is loose and available. It's Coughlin from Ballygunner, lays it off to the captain from De La Salle, Kevin Moran from way out the field. The umpire looking into the glorious sunshine and the blue skies, and the ball is gone to the left and wide. The puck out is quickly taken. Luke Meade gathering it quickly. Oh, that's a good diagonal ball. First touch, Malin Cadigan wasn't great. Taking responsibility is Patrick Horgan. The first shot of the match at the goalpost from a Cork perspective is over the bar. The notice has been given. Cork have arrived in Semple Stadium. It's a huge boost, the first score.
Yeah, and again, a feature of the game the last day was Anthony Nash's puck out. Brilliant to the hand of Luke Meade, and Patrick Horgan over the bar.
Puck out again is quickly taken. There's no hanging about in Semple Stadium despite 26, 27 degrees heat. It is a beautiful day in the heart of Tipperary hurling for this wonderful clash. Stepping aside is Conor Lahan, dropping this in. He hits it well. The Cork crowd are cheering it, but the umpire says no. Wrong side of the post and wide off the curl of Middleton man Conor Lahan.
Yeah, good chance there, Conor Lahan. The last day he had 10 shots. I think he scored 5 and missed 5, and you know, on a day he's capable of scoring 6 and 7 points from play.
Puck out again is a lengthy one, knocked away by Damien Cahalane. Battling hard is Stephen McDonald, but it's the Waterford man that has the sliotar. More importantly, it's Shane Bennett. 2 Corkmen around him, and they took almost 3 of them actually to stop him in his tracks. He still managed to get it out for his Maurice Shanahan. A late replacement for Dara Fives. He's well spot, picking up this man, Conor Lahan. Didn't get a full belt onto the sliotar. It comes instead for his Jamie Barron. Jamie lays it off quickly. Over for his Philip Mahoney, and that is looking as if that is gone to the right and wide.
Yeah, Marty, huge pressure from the Cork players. They started at a fierce pace. Interestingly enough, there's huge room in the Waterford defence. We said that Cork or Waterford were going to set up with maybe 1 or 2 extra backs. There's none of them at the moment. Cork only playing with 4 forwards. Conor Lahan has withdrawn out the field here as well.
Anthony Nash's puck out this time is going to dribble out over the sideline. Sideline cut for Waterford. All the anticipated tactics and strategies, they're not that evident because we thought Waterford would go very defensive and Cork would try and widen it out as much as possible, but so far it looks 15 against 15.
Yeah, you've Austin Gleeson at wing forward, Michael Walsh over in the far wing, Tariq Mahoney at centre forward. Very orthodox so far. Maurice Shannon inside.
Waterford had the slither. Knocking it back was Kevin Moore. Farrell's tied to hit the slither but lost the hurler. Picks it up. Mark Ellis from Mill Street. Mother is from Tulla in County Clare. Dropping it down towards Patrick Horgan. Horgan beaten on this occasion. Coming in strong. Very agile. He's a Cork midfield and half forward line, and they're playing well, I have to say. They're really hungry for the ball, and great work on this occasion.
Yeah, Dara Fitzgibbon there, Marty. A brilliant game the last day, and you see him here breaking the tackle. He's only a young player. Brilliant point from him off his left-hand side. And as I say, very surprised the way Waterford lined up. You can see that room inside in the full forward line, and I'm sure Cork weren't expecting this.
Puck out again from Stephen O'Keefe. Grabbed on this occasion by Stephen Bennett, making an angle for himself, and Waterford find our rhythm. It took them a while. Ballysaggart man has a brother playing at top of the right. It's the Bennetts.
Yeah, great score there. Stephen Bennett switching over from the right wing over to the left, picked up the break and shortened the grip and over the bar.
Puck out from Anthony Nash, radar-like, laser-like, far as Conor Lahan. Hard to imagine he was in crutches just about 10 days ago. Picked up by Barry Coughlin. Cork fans wanted a free. No free given. Ball is pucked out over to the far over side. Diagonal as Waterford stretch Cork as much as possible. Brilliantly caught by Maurice Shanahan. He retreats out to get a little bit of room in, and a great block down, and Maurice Shanahan is there again. Good work on this occasion by Damien Cahalane. Can he block him the second time? But he did enough to put Shanahan off. But great defending. Gosh, Damien Cahalane's dad, Niall Cahalane, who was a great footballer, would love that.
Yeah, I'd be proud of that one. But Dan Shanahan should have looked outside. Tariq Mahoney was completely loose. A great ball by Michael Brick Walsh across the field, and Dan was greedy on that occasion. Or Morris, I should say.
Dan is down the sideline. The ball is gathered by Tyg de Burka, sending it back into the corner where Maurice Shanahan and Damien Cahalane are having a right good tussle. Referee Barry Kelly feels that the advantage is on this occasion and the free should go to the Cork man.
And Marty, this is a big change in the Cork defence the last day against Tipperary. That tightness that they hadn't for the last number of years. Damien Cahalane was on Seamus Callan the last day. He never left an inch between them all day, and you can see him there all over Maurice Shannon, and Maurice fouled him there. He couldn't get to the ball. Very strong man, and he's really settled into that full back role.
Anthony Nash with the free. Dropping it in around the house. Waterford under a little bit of pressure. Sweeping it over. There's the right corner back, Shane Fives from Touré. Waterford build from the back. Kevin Moran is available. Pulling the brakes is Michael Brick Walsh. He's operating around the middle of the field. It comes first Tariq Mahoney, who was a lovely follow through, and he'll get the result of it as well. Brilliant point by the centre half forward.
And that super play, Michael Walsh, Brick Walsh involved again. Just the coolness, showed the temperament, turned back, gave the little pass, and a super strike from the middle of the field. And that's what Waterford do very well. Tyg de Burka picked up that breaking ball inside in his own full back line. They worked it out.
Level for the first time in Semple Stadium. Ball is hit by Mark Coleman. Diagonal ball aimed over towards Luke Meade. But the slither was hit too hard, and it's a line ball, which I'm sure is going to be taken by Philip Mahoney. Nephew, of course, is Shane and Billy O'Sullivan, older brother of Porrick. Derek McGrath, hoping to guide his county to the third Munster final in a row, which is quite an achievement. For Kieran Kingston, it's only his second year. Young lads, 12 of the panel are under 21. And indeed, 4 are on the side. 3 of them 19 years of age. Building on a very strong youth policy and doing a great job. Waterford, meanwhile, have the slither. It's Kevin Moore switching from right half forward to left half forward. Here we go again. Cahalane and Maurice Shanahan. Shanahan gets the lucky break this time, gets inside, turns, pulls the brakes, gives it back out. Paris Stephen Bennett, and that is straight between the posts and over the bar. Brilliant play, Waterford.
Yeah, Martin, after a sluggish start, Waterford really coming into the game now. They're using that diagonal ball, and Morris, he did very well. And this time he did look up and gave it to Stephen Bennett, and he puts it over the bar. And you just wonder about that. You know, Waterford have been on the road that few years. They're very strong physically. They've a lot of hard work done over the last 3 or 4 years. And the young legs of Cork today, you know, in this heat, will they be able to stand up to the Waterford physicality?
Anthony Nash's puck out is straight down the middle. Tyg de Burka is underneath it. Ball is available. Coming forward is Conor Gleeson. Once again, it's Tyg de Burka. Faris Porrick-Mahony is inside his own 65, dribbles it along the ground. As Waterford retain possession, Cork could be exposed on this occasion as the slither is hit, but hit inaccurately and sent by Maurice Shanahan to the left of the post. And to be honest, that really should have been put over the bar.
Should have been put over the bar, but he's shown very well for every ball so far, and great ball in by Porrick-Mahony.
Mark Coleman got the slither. It looked like he stepped over the line. Derek and Dan, the man, really were animated. The referee and the linesman said no way. The ball is hit as a result, straight between the post and over the bar by Seamus Harnedy. But great work by Mark Coleman. You could see that the Waterford tactics was to not allow Mark Coleman to come out with the ball.
Yeah, and he got hit. Hats off to Mark Coleman, a young player, as 19 years of age. He got a very heavy hit there from Austin Gleeson, rode the tackle, gave a great ball, and Harnedy scored a super point.
First player from Blarney to play championship for Cork. First year stood. Oh, what about that for a pickup? Oh, that is delightful. Fantastic skill. That is Austin Gleeson, young and senior player of the year,
and Marty,
2016.
just watch this, just a flick back here. John Troy, I think, is the last player I saw that could do something like that. Is an incredible piece of skill, and straight back up on his feet and over the bar. Great score.
In the middle of a championship match.
It's a fantastic match. Brilliant start to the match.
Great risk. Austin Gleeson. This is going to be all about fire and brimstone, trust me. There is passion between these neighbours. I saw Cork below in Walsh Park, Michael, in the Alliance League, and Cork won by 4 points, I think. This is
you watch here
again. See what the hitting.
Well, Brick Walsh stood his ground there. Mark Ellis was coming out, and you can't expect him to move out of the way, and he hit him hard. Two strong men, and Mark Ellis is still down.
Look at this. Oh,
it's just incredible.
That is just magic for
That's
me,
what makes hurling
for everybody else.
different. Gleeson is down injured now as well. Hopefully he'll be okay, but I think everyone glad to get a bit of water on board here and get a little break.
So are we. Derek McGrath hoping to continue on the form that they produced in that All-Ireland semi-final draw and replay. It was an absolute thriller. Both games, particularly the last one here in Thurles. Free, however, goes to the wrong side of the post for Anthony Nash.
Marty, I'm looking at Austin Gleeson there. He's very limping away there, and he's been picked up by Colm Spillane, who, again, another new player to Cork. The last did a great man-marking job on Bubbles, even though Bubbles had a good start on him, but he eventually came into the game very well.
Continues to limp, as you highlighted, as the ball comes straight out for his Porrick-Mahony. Good work by Stephen McDonald, picked up by Kevin Moran, trying to get past Bill Cooper. Has to release the ball. In comes Austin Gleeson under severe pressure, and as a result of that pressure, the ball is sent to the wrong side of the post and wide.
Yeah, and that's just maybe the one criticism of Austin Gleeson's game. He is young, but again, that shot wasn't really on. Stephen Bennett again was very frustrated. He has been loose on 2 occasions. 2 balls he would have tapped over the bar, and excuse me, the ball hasn't been played to him.
Anthony Nash is waiting for Barry Kelly to give him the signal. Now the puck out can be taken. Long puck out. Chasing after it is Luke Mead. Coming across, getting a touch is Shane Fives, and it's a sideline ball for Cork. Just between the 20 and 45 metre line, about 35 metres out. And
interesting, Marty, to look at.
Sorry,
Marty, just looking at the setup here. Waterford seem to be lining up with 4 in the half forward line, with Stephen Bennett, Austin Gleeson, Porrick-Mahony and Michael Walsh right across the sort of half forward line, middle of the field, and leaving Maurice Shanahan and Shane Bennett inside, and Morris inside maybe on his own at times. So interesting tactics, and going man to man everywhere else then around the field.
Mark Coleman with the sideline cut. And clearly, Michael, that possibly is the thinking that Maurice Shanahan could expose Damien Cahalan and that Cork full back line.
They're probably hoping for a break or one off the shoulder, someone coming, a runner coming through. Great line ball.
Here's Mark Coleman, 19 years of age. First-year business student in University College Cork. Outstanding against Tipperary, and he does this in his first championship season. Wow.
Yeah, he just seems to be a very, very special talent. He had an outstanding game against Tipperary. He's tough, he's great striker of the ball, switching to play every chance he gets, and then again you see that skill there of cutting that line ball over the bar.
Size level for the 3rd time. Porrick-Mahony trying to scoop it out. Luke Mead is there. So too is Christopher Joyce. James McGrath, linesman, indicates it's a line ball to the Rebel County. Christopher Joyce going to take this. It is debut against Offaly, Michael, you might like to know, 5 years ago, as he cuts it in. into the centre. Lovely stick work. Nice control. Ball inside. Chasing after it is Patrick Horgan. What's he going to do? Oh, he hit it right across the face of the goal. Should have been, could have been a goal.
Yeah, and I suppose you see the value of Tyke de Burke there. Sometimes he doesn't get close to that extra man. Patrick Horgan, great skill, slipped his man, but Tyke de Burke came across him here, did put him off. Really, though, he should have stuck it up in the roof of the net. That's what he was trying to do, and it was a great chance by Patrick Horgan.
And lovely stick work with the very first touch. Meanwhile, it is Kevin Moran, captain of Waterford, laying the pass across is not a good one, and Cork are there in numbers, including Damien Cahalane, under a little bit of pressure. Ball is loose and available as Waterford now have their turn in dominance. Ball is dropping in. It's 3 against 2. The 2 is McDonald for Cork, and Cork come away with it once more. Plenty of players available, and they're hungry, looking for it every single time. Blocked on this occasion. Darragh Fitzgibbon comes for his Shane Bennett, and that is going to be a sideline ball.
Yeah, Shane Bennett had lost his hurl. Clever enough that he just flicked the ball off the Cork player. Or did it bounce off him again? We'll have another look at it here maybe in a second. Rostin Gleeson has claimed that anyway, and he'll be looking to emulate Mark Coleman by putting this over the bar. I just think Waterford, they're wasteful. They're not playing the same teamwork as Cork. They had a number of chances there to throw the ball around. I think that's about 3 times now.
Austin Gleeson didn't really connect. He normally puts those pretty close between the posts. This occasion didn't really get it right. Cork, it might be new kids on the block, but oh, what a catch, Conor Lahan. But they're looking for him every time. He's along the sideline, he's hitting the slither, and it's straight between the posts. Absolutely brilliant, Conor Lahan. What a score.
First of all, a brilliant ball out by Mark Coleman, but look at the bravery. He switched hands, caught it in his right hand, straight back onto his hurl and over the bar. And if we thought Austin Gleeson's point was brilliant a few minutes ago, that's equally as good.
Cork back in front by 1. Short puck out, far as Shane Fives. Dropping it in again. No wind. Certainly no rain. Plenty of sunshine, plenty of heat. As Mark Ellis gathers, lays it off quickly for his Christopher Joyce. Short ball as Cork turn defence into attack once more. Plenty of players available. Lahan is showing leadership. He's outside the Waterford 65, and he splits the post for the second time. What a hurler. He really is showing leadership. He's showing incredible skill and such accuracy.
Yeah, great play there by Darragh Fitzgibbon again. He carried that ball, picked out, Lahan drifted off his man. He tied the Buccaneers to him now. Conor Gleeson was earmarked to pick him up, but there's nobody really picking up because he's travelling all over the field, and here he is switching back out again towards the wing.
Mark Coleman, first touch by Stephen Bennett, allowed Coleman to gather it. Again, he uses the short ball. Good defending, great defending. The Mahoney brothers combining here. This from about 50 metres out, he hits a beauty between the posts. Straight between the post for the second time for Pádraig Mahoney. Good score.
Yeah, Mark Coleman had a chance, I think, to deliver the ball long up the field. He went for the ball across there and well picked up by, in the end, by Pádraig Mahoney. Put it over the bar. Really it should have been cleared by Cork.
Puck out again from Anthony Nash. Batting it away on this occasion. Just keeping it in was Austin Gleeson. Referee spotted the infringement, the foul. It's a free for Cork. Just along the sideline here.
Yeah, Austin Gleeson put the arm in over the shoulder there, and if you watch it here, Conor Lahan just gets his body in position there and just puts his arm in around the neck and clear free. An interest in Patrick Horgan now. This is their first free. Conor Lahan took the frees the last day and hit them very well, but Patrick Horgan, obviously the most recognised free taker, and this is a long way out for most people, but he'll have no trouble with this distance.
Scored 4 points against Tipperary from play. All-Star 2013.
Yeah, I think they took the frees off in the last day because maybe just to get him more involved, you know, that not just to be dependent on the frees, and he responded well. He got 4 great scores.
There's a little summer breeze developing, and it's favouring Waterford as Patrick Horgan takes this and he hits it superbly between the posts. Huge boost, not just to himself, but also indeed to his team.
Yeah, he made that look easy. That wasn't easy. That was a long way out on the angle, but a beautiful strike.
Cork lead by 2 as we head towards the 18th minute of a pulsating first half. Kevin Moran battling hard. Cork defensively doing well. Cork Mahoney is in there. Waiting, hovering is Shane Bennett. He's the number 13, but Cork come away with it with Dara Fitzgibbon. Laying it back for Damien Cahalan, despite the pressure. Didn't go long. Give it out for his Yall's Bill Cooper, who gives the diagonal ball, and the ball hopped. Rather difficult for Alan Cadigan, but good defending by Waterford. Ball dropping down into the Cork half of the field. Here comes Pádraig Mahoney again. Going forward is Luke Mead, Euston man. Between the 45 and 65, the Cork man is happy. You know by the body language as he runs back into the position. Mark Ellis from Mill Street.
Yeah, Marty, that's the big difference so far. The support play of Cork is far better. There's a man off the shoulder all the time. Mark Ellis had to run 20-30 yards to get up there to support Luke Mead. Great pass by Mead over the bar, and Cork are doing that very, very well, whereas Waterford are getting isolated with no support there.
And it's Cork that have possession once more. Mark Coleman did well, but the pressure and the chop down was coming fast. He did well to gather it. Austin Gleeson being penalised for that challenge on the Blarney man.
You know, he'll argue he was coming in on the ball. Not a word out of Coleman, he just got on with it.
Coming out to take it is goalkeeper Anthony Nash, as Mark Coleman gets running repairs. Nash family, of course, Anthony's uncles Declan and Mike Nash played for Limerick. As Anthony drops this in, Waterford should have the situation under control, but Cork are chasing absolutely everything. Gathered on this occasion by Philip Manning. Laying it off quickly. In support is Austin Gleeson. Gets by the first challenge. He's going for the score from just inside his own 65-metre line, but the ball is wide. And to be honest, Michael, he has a tendency of going for these long-range points, and he might be better going for a ball diagonally. Let's go down to Donald Grady to the sideline.
Yeah, Marty, I'm just looking at Austin Gleeson there, and he doesn't seem to be playing any role. He's up and down the right wing, but he hasn't, he's not dropping into the centre to cover off Cork, and I think Waterford are getting no value out of him at this time. I prefer to see him inside in the centre if I was the Waterford manager.
Donald Grady suggesting changes for Waterford as they trail at this moment by 3 points, 8 points to 5. Mark Coleman beginning to come to life, beginning to dominate. Makes his first mistake. Giving the ball away. Maurice Shanahan keeping it down this wing. Pádraig Mahoney is available. Kevin Moran is outside him. Mahoney turns inside and shoots and scores. You can't ask for better than that. It's the Ballygunners man's third point of the game.
Yeah, Marty, he's really the one Waterford forward that's really standing up the count. That's a lovely. He saw the space, attacked it, made room for himself, and that's his third point from play.
Anthony Nash going short for his Mark Ellis, who was unmarked momentarily. Diagonal ball over towards Alan Cadigan, and the ball is just not hopping right for Alan Cadigan.
No, he hasn't been on the ball yet, but it's early days. He'll get his chances.
Sideline ball for Waterford. A real test of fitness and stamina for these amateur players in very, very warm conditions. Glorious. Austin Gleeson, again not quite cutting it the normal way for him, or the normal standard, but they retain the possession. Ball is diagonal again, and Cork are dealing with this. Stephen McDonald thought about leaving it over the sideline, but he didn't get away with it. Good work, great work by Shane Bennett, but that should have been better dealt with by the Cork defender, let's be honest. And that having been said, full marks to Shane Bennett.
He was too casual there, Stephen McDonald. He thought he was going to shepherd it out over the line, and Shane Bennett, lovely little flick back inside, and that's his first touch really, and a very good score.
High de Burka knocked away on this occasion by Colm Spillane, who's out around the middle of the field despite wearing number 4. Cork have it once more. Austin Gleeson. This time he goes for that diagonal ball. It's 3 against 2 once more. Blinded by the sunshine. Oh, lovely little flick on by the Bennett brothers. And the Cork defenders had to be alert. Numerically outnumbering the Bennett brothers, and that's the only reason. But the little flicks, the little hand pass was beautiful. Here comes Conor Lahan. Into the space. quality ball on the 20-metre line. An opportunity, didn't control it the first time. And the ball has gone out, the referee's whistle is blown. Seamus Harnedy will be disappointed at the first touch. Watch this again. As the ball came in, look at the little flick. There was the first, and then there was the hand pass. Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Stephen Bennett into Shane. Shane ran over it then and allowed the clearance. But the ball by Conor Lahan there again. Lovely first touch here, but Seamus Harnedy made the run and he picked him out, switched across the field. He's fouled again, and Waterford coming under pressure. They're fouling a lot more than Cork, and the young legs of Cork seem to be going well at the moment.
Tonight, of course, on RT2 at 9:30, the Sunday game. Lots to talk about. Not just about this game, but of course nationwide, all the games on the Sunday game. Patrick Horgan with the free, and the white flag will be raised again. Second free, third point for the Glen Rovers man. Stephen O'Keefe's puck out, a lengthy one. Comes down towards Maurice Shanahan. Gets away from Mark Coleman, skips away, nice stick work, lovely stick work, flicking it back. Obviously got the call from his captain, Kevin Moran. Difficult angle for Moran, he's dropping in around the house on a wonderful catch. Cork defender staying goal side, but getting inside Colm Spillane and pulled down as Shane Bennett was unequivocally fouled.
Yeah, I
and
think
the
we're going
long
to see a yellow card
diagonal
here.
ball is causing a problem.
Yes, he took it very well there, in fairness, Shane Bennett. And he was patient. Turned back inside, and you can see clearly there he's dragged down, and it's going to be a yellow card. Yeah, I think Waterford are going to be happy enough, you know.
Just a yellow card for left cornerback, yellow for Colm Spillane from Castle Lyons.
Yeah, but I was just saying, Marty, I think Waterford will be happy enough. Pádraig Mahoney should pop this over. There'll only be a point in it, and Cork really have had a lot more, just visually seem to be on the ball a lot more, but Waterford sticking at it and they're well in it.
Interesting conversation going on here between Barry Kelly and his umpires. Just obviously maybe something that's happening off the ball, so just being informed. And Barry Kelly just obviously having a word with the players,
I think,
and saying that he is aware of it. Meanwhile, Pádraig Mahoney.
I think a warm day like this, Marty, players have enough underplay trying to get on with it without anything off the ball. To me, it's very open, very fair so far.
Stephen Bennett seems to be a little bit animated about it, whatever was being said. Meanwhile, the free is going to be taken. Pádraig Mahoney had a little glance or an eye down towards Derek McGrath. Should he go for it, or will he top it over the bar? 7 points to 9. Waterford trailing by 2. He'll take his point. Early days for Waterford and Cork.
Yeah, Donald was suggesting Austin Gleeson was wondering here. He's gone back now sort of in a half sweeper role. He's off out around the middle of the field there, but again, he's not picking up anybody. He's just loose, and interesting to see does he get on much ball out there, because he's just wandering around at the moment.
Anthony Nash's puck out was laser-like again. Whereas Harnedy, the move ends with Shane Kingston driving this ball wide. And I must compliment Anthony Nash, because every puck out has been absolutely precise.
Yeah, I said it earlier, Marty, a massive feature the last day of the puck outs, and the handling of the Cork outfield players is fantastic.
Referee wants to have a word with the linesman, or vice versa. Some information from Sean Clear, who's the linesman at this side for Barry Kelly. And wants to bring it forward. And he's having a word inside there. He's making a note, but we don't really know who he wants to talk to. Noel Connors is the player right beside him, but I don't think he wants to talk to Noel, does he? It's number 8, actually. It's Jamie Barron he wants to have a word with. And he's also going to book him.
Yeah, what happened there on the last puck out, Seamus Harnedy was trying to make a run off the ball, and Jamie Barron pulled him down, and good pick up by the linesman there. It certainly was the yellow card. And the referee has actually called it back and given the free. I'm not sure after the event when he didn't pick it up, you know, the play had gone on, the ball had gone wide out of play, if you can do that.
Patrick Horgan taking the free and taking the point. Well, we must compliment Sean Clear and indeed Barry Kelly, because that's good work by the management team that's refereeing this game.
Well, the only way that it must have been in real time that Barry Kelly heard him on it and then called it back, because otherwise if it had gone dead, he couldn't call it back. You could book the player, but you couldn't give the free.
Stephen O'Keefe's puck out, hops into the waiting hands of Shane Bennett, trying to get it across. Stephen Bennett, I should say. It didn't quite connect. Gathered by Stephen McDonnell. As Cork once again show a lot of picks, momentum. This is Shane Kingston having a shot from inside the Waterford 45, and the ball is wide. Well, it's Hawkeye is being called in. Hawkeye for the first time being called in to Semple Stadium here in Thurles. So a decision will be made.
And Shane Kingston, a very talented young player. He was out for, I think, the guts of a year with a broken leg there. He was a brilliant minor. He started slowly the last day, ended up scoring 1-4 against Tipperary, and this would be huge for him now, just to get his name on the score sheet before half-time and settle him into the game. Himself, Alan Cadigan, very quiet in there.
Scored a goal and 4 points against Tipperary. He's one of the 19-year-olds on the side. First-year art student in UCC. And the result from Hawkeye, after a little deliberation, is as follows. Here it comes. It's outside. Ball is wide. Scoreline remains the same. 2 points between the teams as we head towards a half an hour of action. Long puck out again. Good work between Christopher Joyce and Mark Ellis. Ellis clearly calling for it. Says, I'll deal with it. Flicking it inside. Nice work by Cork. Dara Fitzgibbon. Hard to believe that some of these lads are playing only in their second championship match. They're showing a lot of maturity, a lot of skill, good risks. Here's one of them, Shane Kingston. Disappointed with the last effort, being judged by Hawkeye as a wide. Alan Cadigan trying to pick it up. So too is Patrick Horgan. Waterford defensively under pressure. Noel Connors is there. But Cork have it once again as the ball is flicked very much to the right and wide off the stick of Luke Meade on this occasion.
Yeah, and you see Kieran Kingston there frustrated. I think Alan Cadigan was loose outside again, and a couple of bad wides there by Cork. As I said a couple of times already, dominating the game, but only 2 points in it on the scoreboard.
Long puck out again from Stephen O'Keefe. Good work by Stephen McDonnell. Helping out is Christopher Joyce. North side of Cork City, both hurlers, the Glen and the Pearship. As the ball is dropped in, it's 2 against 2. Horgan is there. So too is Shane Kingston, as Hurley seemed to be held. Noel Connor sweeps up, gives it back to his keeper, Stephen O'Keefe. Sit down the field. Breaking ball. Mark Coleman is there. Lovely, almost pick up. Mark Ellis seems to be dominant around that middle area. He seems to be anticipating the breaking ball, doing good work as the Mill Street man. There he is again, lunging courageously. Kevin Moore gathers it up. There's a real wonderful atmosphere here. Crossfire Stephen Bennett. Ball into space. McDonnell comes first out to the ball. That's why Glen Rovers are going for 3 county championships in a row. Down far is Seamus Harnedy from St. Edith's. Ball inside is not gathered cleanly by a Cork belt. Good work by Kingston, who arrived late as Tyke de Burke seemed to anticipate and intercepted. And here are the 2 boys backing it out. Good work. 10 out of 10, Tyke de Burke. Won the ball, lost the ball, won it back. You can't ask for more by the man from Cashmore. As the ball is sent down the field. Oh, what a score. Waterford. What a point. Good work by Conor Gleeson.
Well, Marty, if Waterford go on to win this game, it's early in the game, but that is an absolutely crucial. Shane Kingston out in front of his man, but Jamie Byrne, Tyke de Burke, a brilliant piece of skill. Watch him here on the ball all the way, used his strength, and then had the composure to pick it, look up. You see him looking up here, giving on the hand pass, and Conor Gleeson carried up the field and stuck it over the bar for a brilliant score.
Here comes Bill Cooper, skipping away from Maurice Shanahan. The Schlitter glued to the hurling. Nice hands, Alan Cadigan. His first touch of the ball. Here comes the shot. Brilliant save by Stephen O'Keefe. Douglas and Ballygunner in drama in Thurles. As the ball is managed to get out past the 20-metre line. Great defending by Waterford. Here comes Brick Walsh trying to flick it forward when he was under pressure. Nice skill Again, Grace, wrists, fast speed. Up goes McDonald. Doing well, getting more into the game as the breaking ball favours Cork. Whipping it along the line is Mark Coleman. Ball runs on past Patrick Horgan. Who's available? Into the centre. Oh, good hands. It's Harnedy. He's about to pull the trigger. Balance it. Here comes the shot. Oh, what a save!
What a save!
A magnificent save, Stephen O'Keefe. Save of the match, and it's only June 18th, 2017.
Two brilliant saves in that passage of play, Marty. We'll come back to them.
And here come Waterford once more. They have the support. Going forward is Jamie Barron, hopping it on the surface. Great skill, great stick work. As uses his short grip to give it out for his Kevin Moore. Captain from the Daysha, flicks it over the bar. A wonderful piece of wonderful hurling in Semple Stadium. Brilliant saves, great scores.
Well, Marty, unbelievable there. We see Kevin Moore levelling it up here. Waterford has scored 2 points, but look at the save. Look at the ball from inside from Patrick Horgan. Harnedy showed great composure, and what a save here by Stephen O'Keefe. Again, Alan Cadigan here coming in along the end line, did very well, and a rocket there as he was falling, another brilliant save. And both of those scores ended up with points for Waterford at the other end of the field. How big is that in the context of the game? Massive.
Now in Cork with the slither over the far side, and that ball is gone to the right and wide. Conor Lahan, only would I imagine about his second shot going astray in this first half. Let's go down to Donald Grady.
Well, Marty, Cork were doing very, very well, except for the last couple of minutes there that Waterford came back at them. But what's happening is Jamie Barron and Kevin Moore in the minute are dropping back the minute Cork's half back line get the ball, which is opening channels for the Cork forwards. But Waterford seem to have tightened up now in the last few minutes.
Jamie Barron under severe pressure. Cork chasing, harassing. They didn't lose their form. It is by no means a once-off that they beat the All-Ireland and Munster champions. They've shown enough in the opening 35 minutes to show Cork hurling at its best. Here comes Waterford. They're not gone either, as that slither is sent to the left and wide. And the referee, however, has blown his whistle and is giving a free to the Daysha. And a yellow card as well for Christopher Joyce for that challenge. This is what happened.
Yeah, I think it's Brick Walsh picking up the ball. See the break, he looks up, sees Leeson, and the elbow was up a bit high there. And Austin Leeson hit it wide again. I know the ref has called it back, but Austin Leeson will be disappointed. He's hit 3 wides now from very, very scoreable positions.
1 minute of additional time at least going to be added on. Now we have a lot to talk about at half-time. No goals so far, but there should have been. As Stephen O'Keefe made some absolutely brilliant saves. This free on the Cork 65. Porrick Mahoney hitting it, but hitting it to the left and wide. It could have been a nice little psychological as the teams go into the break. Pulsating first half, Michael Gagnon.
Absolutely, very enjoyable, Marty. Look at 10 points each. Really, Cork should be up. They had 2 great goal chances, but Stephen O'Keefe kept them in it. The heat out there is absolutely savage, so they're going to be tired, but they get a chance now to regroup. And look, it's as we were at the start, and you know, brilliant first half.
4 times level in the first half, and guess what? At half-time, they're level as well. Waterford 10 points, Cork 10 points. Don't go away. We'll have the Newark and the break, and right back then with analysis.
Littlewoods Ireland, proud sponsor of the GAA Hurling Championship.
Soldier, keep on marching on.
How long you been in the army?
8 weeks.
Head down to the
Wait until you see. See what? What a man can do to another man. Where's the rest of 3rd platoon? We're it.
Ideals are peaceful. History is violent.
Fury, Thursday at 9:30 on RTE2. Switch to 3, and for a limited time only, you can get the brand new Samsung Galaxy S8 for an unbelievable €49. Was €229. Make the most of it with all-you-can-eat data, all calls and texts on our unlimited plan. Available in your local 3 store.
Guinness has always been about beer and people. And many of us have entered these gates in the footsteps of our parents and grandparents. 258 years ago, we signed a 9,000-year lease. We have a lot more beer to make.
Make some noise! TV streaming from Now TV is here. Say hello to some of the biggest and best TV with no contract. Want 250 box sets and the latest shows? Now you can. That's brilliant streaming. No contract. Start your 14-day free trial today. Now TV. Now you can.
3 seconds can be an eternity. The smallest mistake can cost you victory. And 27 metres is all that separates you from triumph. Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. Inishmore, Saturday, June 24th. Watch live on redbull.tv.
Don't let shopping interrupt your me time. Save with Eurocrunch offers at your local Spar. Like Spar Tube Crisps range, any 2 for €3. Coca-Cola, Fanta and Sprite 1.75 litre, any 2 for €3. Mars Pouch range, any 2 for €3. And Barramundi Australian wines, any 3 for €20. Spar Eurocrunch offers.
You've probably heard about scrappage deals of €3,000 or maybe €4,000. But your car could be worth more than you think. At Toyota, you could be hearing trade-in values of 5, 10, €15,000 or more. That's just one of the reasons why Toyota is Ireland's #1 car brand. With 3 years free servicing and great scrappage deals too, for 172, it has to be Toyota. Built for a better world.
News for the deaf will be at 5 to 6 this evening, followed by weather with signing available on RTE News Now and the RTE Player. Akanish nuacht le Mwyler McDonagh.
Agus bur géad fáilte agus siomar na nuachta I Mala na Hán. Deir a tánaiste nach ra aon locht ar a bróise féinar capú in mór a chuileán ina brethú ar an gúirtá Cork. Deir Francis Fitzgerald gur faoi íana fáile a marúil héanamh acu faoin gapachán.
Dé dánig agus tá conspóid an iarúir daine fósa go le raig. Tá rialtas fósa muomh gur ceapachán dleathach a bhí ann. Ach tá frisóra fósa ceistú na netaí.
Ní aon tíim le an slí ina Harlíonn an job seo. Is tócha bhfuil sé legal, but tá ceistú chum nach bhfuil sé ethical.
Dúirt ceanara Ian Fáil Micheál Martin ar réir go mhuineann an ceapachán seo de údarás na brethúna. Agus tá méadú ar na héileh taobhiste de Ian Fáil freagraí sásúla a chur fáil.
Tá sé andar iireach, caiimid a bheith an deireachhui sin ach tá de géirí ceistena an táneiste ar fuair an trí anam as an cuarta ord a bhí go raibh simig in a brethú sin in an fost gur ráigh mar a bhhuileann. Cad é aon siad leis anam sin.
Agus inneo ag ócóid comórtha I rélig gránseach an déin, thug an táneiste agus airfiontir agus nuálaíochta Francis Fitzgerald roint freagraí. Dúirt siad nach raibh lucht ar bith ar an bróiséis a ladach. Agus iad tagart don bhfuil a deatach a bheith ann don rialtas do bhar ainas idir Fine Gael agus Fianna Fáil ar an gceist seo. Dúirt siad go leanthach Fianna Fáil a gcóirle héin a gcónaí ar aon nós, agus gneanadaí sé gintaí héin ar an gceist seo. Béle feicáil am bhfuil na freagraí sin sásúil go leor go Fianna Fáil. Cuimhní Lion nuacht RTE.
Hartín tá 3 scór duine ar a laid mar aon ollas go foréise sa bort sin géal agus tá cin lechiad gortaí. Ina go carnaí a bhása go leor I tethe ón sinne. Sna cruic 200 km sa óthua as Lisboa a hála se, deirtar gur tínsach aimsir háirniúil ba chúis leis na cruinte a lása. Tá sé cin cearacha céim Celsius a réigiún le seachtain, tá na céta teach dóite go tála agus mótarbhela agus bóide eile dúnsa ag tinne. Clifa Gaelach san ománaíocht leahama in Uair le Saoile, Cork agus Portláirige chorm 10 buinte an taobh, Sabel tá tíróin his las go ceart a thuair go ar an óg chun an gála glúneois. Tíróin hína fiche híon don an gáil hína dóíag. Muinechan nó an dún is se bheits le tíróin. Agus san amanacht bhí fiche pointe garaspar ag gaile í fáile. Snúine bheith? Máin.
At Mace, there's nothing we like more than seeing a big, happy smile all over your face. So, whether you're at the deli for delicious fresh food, or coming in because it's coffee time, you can shop till you pop. So get your Mace face on and get happy. Mace, going the extra smile.
Bin your gum when you're done and divide a €150 fine.
Live well with Centra, proud sponsor of the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship.
Welcome back again to the programme. Half-time here at Semple Stadium in this Munster hurling semi-final between Waterford and Cork, and it is indeed all square at 10 points apiece. Liam Sheedy, Tomas Mulcahy and Ken McGrath here with me in studio, thoroughly enjoying that first half of hurling. I presume you were anyway, Ken. You were hopping around enough.
I wasn't hopping around. It's too hot to hop around, Michael. But
fair point.
It was, if the field is hot, in here it's like a sauna. But no, I enjoyed it. It's good championship hurling. There's not too much space out there. It's proper championship hurling. A lot of man-on-man, a lot of individual battles. It's good. It's not maybe as high scoring as the Tip Cork game, but sometimes it don't always have to be that as well to be a good game. And it's an intriguing enough match, and we've a great view here, so we're seeing what's kind of going on. And positions a lot of times don't really mean anything at times in the modern game, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I think it'll only get better in the second half. I think Waterford is the first game in 11 weeks. They need that under their belts. Yeah. I think Cork probably played better hurling in the first half, and yet it's only a draw. So I'd say Waterford happy enough for half time and eager for the second half.
There have been 3 draws between these two counties in the last 10 years, Tomas, and I wouldn't rule another one out here.
No, you certainly wouldn't, Michael. It was a fascinating first 35 minutes, particularly because, like, Mar Shannon being started, he became a focal point of the Waterford attacks very, very quickly. He was isolated aside with Cahalan and just started putting a lot of high ball inside there. He had his just rewards after 10-15 minutes. You see Paul Romani at centre forward very much coming into the game. He gets 3 points in play. And I suppose key for Cork realistically is they started well, which I wanted to see was the start they get, and they got some fantastic scores. Conor Lehan dropping off, right? Even Tyg de Burke is man marking him. He's dropping that 15-20 yards out towards the middle, which Tyg is kind of in two man's land where he go after him, but he doesn't go after him and stuff like that, right? Yeah. And it's allowing a bit of space to the inside, and they're playing very good ball to the inside forwards. Probably unlucky that they don't have a goal or two ahead at this stage on the basis of chances that they created. But in Waterford field, a few that they missed as well, a couple of bad wides. But on the goal chances, definitely Cork would have had the better chances.
Yeah, heading into that second half, Liam Sheedy, I mean, unlike the football that we saw earlier on in the day, was pretty much all over at half-time. I would defy anybody to call this one at this stage.
Yeah, no, look, it's really going to be really hard. I mean, what we had in the first half, I thought we had flashes of individual brilliance, and I think that really is what makes the game of hurling. You know, some of the scores that were taken, Conor Lehan had a catch there in that first half that you'd pay the entrance fee alone to see. So we have seen some real flashes of brilliance. And listen, Stephen O'Keefe's performance in that first half, like it's getting to the stage where you feel the team that scores the first goal, I think, will be a massive score in this game. So it's certainly still a lot to play for here.
Well, the team that you thought were going to score scored the first goal on about 3 different occasions was Cork, and it just didn't come. And as Liam said, the Waterford goalkeeper, Stephen O'Keefe, was just hugely important in all of this. But what goal chances?
Yeah, and it was clearly a tactic. You know, Cork may be playing just 2 inside and Hardy coming out the field. And the ball that's coming inside is perfect for the forward. And Patrick Horgan does everything right. Turns Noel Connell's here. On a goal, and I know Pat, he's from my own club, and I've seen him so many times stitch these ones up into that corner. He did right going across, and here Bill Cooper's going forward. It's inside to Alan Cadigan, and again, this is a fantastic save by Stephen O'Keefe. I mean, fantastic, because, I mean, you're at your near post and stuff like that. The forward is in rushing, and all he's doing is letting fly, and a fantastic save, being honest with you. And you'd have felt them, they should have been in the game.
Yeah, no, that was top class. But again, here, look at Patrick Horgan. Look at this for a ball. You know, just absolutely pitch perfect in across. And Seamus Harnedy again only has one thing in his mind. Now, this save, I mean, that's just simply out. You know, that's top class, top drawer. You're just waiting for the net to shake at that stage.
Absolutely.
And you know, really, again, like that's a big dent on your confidence when those chances don't hit the back of the net. So, you know, in terms of Kieran Kingston or Derek McGrath, I think Derek will be the happier because he knows that they've got to find an extra gear. Kieran Kingston will be kicking themselves that they haven't taken those 3 chances.
And not only that, lads, but not only were the saves made, but then, Ken, Waterford got a couple of points off the other end of them.
Yeah, look, I suppose even with the 3 goal chances, the 3 were hit high. And I know Stephen O'Keefe from the club at Ballygunner at home. We played against him numerous times. He's a brilliant keeper, and you're told to bounce the ball in. And look, it's probably it was a keeper's height. Now they're brilliant saves, but if you're telling young lads, you say bounce the ball in the corner, and it wouldn't be stopped, you know.
Yeah.
Good talk off your side there. They're brilliant saves. Fantastic.
No, unbelievable saves they were, but they were a goalkeeper's height and all fair. And look, if that's any against the Cork lads, it should be known. It would have been harder to save. Sure. But they were unbelievable saves.
So many moments in that first half to savour. Some great scores. Liam was saying there a minute ago. We could pick out, I suppose, most of the scores from the match, if you like. But Jamie Barron's point was just a wonderful piece of structure, if you like.
Yeah, look, I suppose this is what Waterford were trying to do, to cut out that space that Cork created against Tip a month ago. Shane Kingston, who was coming into the game a bit, had a couple of bad wides. Shane Kingston, Luke Meade, and Adam Cadigan are not in the game as much today as they were against Tip, and that's a big plus for Waterford. Great defending by Tyg Burke, nice hand pass to the runner in Jamie Barron, and Jamie's in that for the last 3 or 4 years. He's an all-star last year, a vital part of the Waterford team. You see him, he's back out. He's all business, Jamie Barron, and that's what probably sums up when Waterford are going well. Like Jamie Barron is in creating havoc, getting on them breaks, running forward and bombing forward. And I'd say Waterford are happy again to win 10 points each at half time without really performing up to the very, very top level. The second half could be very, very interesting.
Because you see, the thing about it is, Liam, to repeat this again, at this stage, Cork have played 3 halves of hurling, and Waterford have played 1, and they're obviously very much in this championship fixture.
Yeah, they are, and like it's still very much even Stephen here. You know, it's very, very hard to call. I mean, you know, Cork again. You know, Mark Coleman has been outstanding again in that first half. You know, they went to push him over the sideline. He managed to hold himself in, got to pass away, and the ball went over the bar. So, you know, Cork will be happy, but they haven't really reached the heights. I think if there was one thing that Kieran Kingston might like to see would be that Shane or Luke Meade, or they've had a few chances just to get them to get that point, because they've had 3 wides between them. But they are making the runs. We can see it here. Myself and Ken picked out numerous occasions. Alan Canigan had made the run. He wasn't spotted. If they spot him in the second half and they pick him out, he'll shake the net. So I think we should be in for a rip-roaring first 10 minutes here.
And a worrying side from a Cork perspective is that they did create those chances without taking them. There was a couple of bad wides from players, you said, which were great point scoring opportunities. And when Ken mentioned 10 weeks were out of game from Waterford, it seemed at times in the first half you could see there was a bit of rustiness there. They weren't as sharp in front of the goal. They created a few chances down here. They didn't take those chances. And if they turn up the heat like we've seen Waterford do in the past, and I think the big problem that they have at half-time is position of Austin Gleeson, because he seems to be in no man's land outside there, right? And I would have felt he was probably better if Tyg Burke was doing a man-marking job to drop into that pocket, because he has the legs to cover across there to knock those balls out that Cork can play inside. And he's ended up a corner forward at the start. He's been at half forward. He's been everywhere. And for the young for himself, if you're that talented and you're asked to do all those jobs, it's nearly impossible. He's running around sometimes like a headless chicken, and that's not taken away from the guy. I think they need to find a position for that man very, very quickly.
He's such an important central player for Waterford. You need him in a game, and I always like being in a game from the start. I think he's something similar. At times he's on the periphery, on the edges, challenges, and he's neither here nor there. You saw a brilliant score from, but you need more from him. You need more leadership. Like, he is hurler of the year. You want him in the game, taking that ball on, dominating the play, and that's what you want. I'd put him back in centre forward or midfield, or get him into the game. Yet Pádraig Manny is causing chaos centre forward. He 3 points in play, and Conor Lehan is doing something similar. This 20 yards out in front of centre back, and that's the hard dilemma as a centre back. Do you stay or do you go? But I think you have to go when the players are that good.
All right, well, the sweat has been wrung out of the jerseys at this stage. The lads are back on the field. As you can see, let's head back to the commentary box to rejoin Marty Morrissey and Michael Duignan.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's very, very hot no matter where you're looking at this game. And today, of course, we're watching a huge crowd here. We're watching as Davy Fitzgerald, Wexford manager. And also, not very far away from him is Brian Cody, Kilkenny manager. And we're about to start this match, second half. 4 times level in the first period.
It's a wonder they're not sitting together, Marty.
Anyway, the second half is on. 10 points, Waterford, 10 points, Cork. And that could well change right at the start of the second half. The umpires are happy that Bill Cooper sets the tone for the second half. Great point.
Yeah, great score by Bill Cooper. And, you know, we were just saying there at half-time here, visually and with the chances, Cork seemed to dominate that first half and they were level. They'd be disappointed not to be maybe 5 or 6 points up at half-time, and that's a good start now for the second half. Bill Cooper, hard worker. Normally you don't see scores like that from great score from the sideline.
Puck out, drops just outside the Cork 45-metre line. Waterford regained the possession, and that is simply tucked between the posts by Austin Gleeson. It's the second point of the game. 2 really good scores, and the sides are level for the 5th time.
Yeah, he made that look so easy. A class score again, and that's what's frustrating, I suppose, sometimes when he hits those bad wides, is that he has so much ability.
Puck out finds Bill Cooper. Ball hops in for Stephen O'Keefe. 2 wonderful saves in this first half that Cork will look back on with regret. They were hit superbly, matched by the brilliance of the Waterford keeper. Sideline ball goes to Cork. Very difficult conditions in one way in terms of the heat here. It seems to be getting warmer as the day progresses.
Yeah, and you'd imagine the subs bench will have a big part to play today. And interesting, I know Waterford have quite a bit of talent on the bench with Patrick Curran, Jake Dillon, Colin Dunford, lads with loads of experience, and maybe Cork don't have that same strength and depth, so will that be a feature?
Beautifully cut in by Mark Coleman. Running on, Tyke de Burka couldn't get there ahead of Patrick Horgan. Alan Cadigan can't pick it up. Good work by Noel Connors. Lays it off swiftly for his Shane Fives. Switching in towards the corner. Chasing after it is Shane Bennett. Hefty shoulder of McDonald. Fair one. Here comes, and it's into the side netting. Shane Bennett, as Anthony Nash was coming off his goal line, Shane Bennett holds his head in anguish because he did everything right except the finish.
Yeah, great shoulder, but Anthony Nash did great. I think he came out there, he cut off the angle. He was off his line very, very quickly, and that was the crucial thing. If you watch him here, look at where he is. He's nearly out on top of him, made it difficult for him, and into the side netting. Again, a good chance, though.
Mightn't have been as spectacular as Stephen O'Keefe's save, or 2 saves, in fact, but still good goalkeeping by the Cork netminder from Kentuck. And away come Cork here. It's Harnett to beat it, bearing down a goal, and it's gone out for a 65. But Seamus Harnedy had got inside the cover, the Waterford cover, and was bearing down in goal.
Yeah, Marty, a feature of today's game is the defending. You know, top class there again. Great hook coming in. I think Seamus Harnedy was. Here's Jamie Barron. Look what the ground he covered here, and in he comes. And that's textbook here, the way he just leaves in the hurl there and gets a little flick. Brilliant defending. And interesting there, I think Seamus Harnedy was fouled. He was pulled there. The referee indicated for an advantage, but didn't accrue. I think he should have called it back for the free, but it is a 65, which Pat Horgan will probably score.
33,163 is the official attendance in this sweltering heat. Good work by Jamie Barron, as you said, Michael. Good score in the first half, and then a wonderful little hook as that is sent over the bar by Patrick Horgan. 5 points, 3 frees, 1 from play, and 165.
Yeah, beautiful strike again. Just lovely trajectory, just a foot over the crossbar. Beautiful strike by Patrick Horgan.
Here come Cork again. This is Conor Lehan. Oh, right along the sideline. He was standing on it, surely. And that is a magnificent point by the Middleton star. 3 points.
This is what he does, Marty. He scores these difficult ones all the time. He misses a few handier ones, but this is just unbelievable. From the sideline, split the post, straight over the black spot.
We had 3 goals in the Cork Tipperary game, 4 goals in the Clare Limerick match, and 4 goals in Wexford Kilkenny. No goals here so far, but some wonderful goalkeeping and some wonderful point taking. But you sense that goals could well decide this particular Munster Hurling Championship semi-final. Almost 40 minutes of action. 5 minutes into the second half. The little bit of breeze that we saw around the 20th minute of the has disappeared. The flag, as you can see at the corner of your television screen, is limp. Sideline ball going to be taken by Dara Fitzgibbon. If the Charleville people aren't in Semple Stadium, they're certainly watching the Sunday game today to see one of their own. Ball breaks, nice stick work. Beautiful flick again by Gleeson as the referee blows the whistle and gives the free to Cork.
Yeah, there's no one arguing. I didn't really see anything the first time round. There's the flick into the face, tied the Burke, caught Conor Lahan, and good call there by Barry Kelly right on the spot.
Patrick Horgan, who's taken over the free-taking responsibilities today, has been the master of consistency so far, and drives that well into Thurles down for his 6th point of the game.
Yeah, I think that's benefiting both players. Conor Lahan doesn't have the free taking on his mind today. He's playing very well in general play, and Patrick Horgan, nice point from play, 65 and 4 frees now, so 9 points between the two lads.
Level at half-time, 10 points each. Level once at the start of the second half, but right now, 3 points between the teams. And Waterford finding it difficult to get past this Cork defence. Colm Spillane laying it off. Farrell's Dara Fitzgibbon, past 2 defenders, has to go back into his own defensive area, and the call came from Damien Cahalane. Crossfield ball, gathering it is Horgan. Nice stick work, nice work. Brilliant point. 7 points for Patrick Horgan. And for the first time in this match, there was a little bit of a gap developing.
Yeah, look at he used his body very well there, just shielded, let it break inside, and straight away flicked it over the bar, didn't bother going for goals. And I think this scoreline reflects this is what Cork have been threatening since the start. They're really dominating the game. Their work rate, their tackling all over the field is absolutely savage. I expected Waterford to bring that to the game, but Cork are bringing that. They're out fighting them, they're out battling them, and they have that bit of extra class up front, which is really beginning to tell now.
Listen to the crowd roar their approval. This is Seamus Harnedy. Nice stick work. Has to go back into the middle. Where's Conor Lahan? Just inside the Waterford 65-metre line. It has the legs, but it doesn't have the accuracy. Ball is wide. 8th wide of this championship semi-final.
Yeah, bad wide in the end, but again, great teamwork. You know, that's the thing that's impressing me. They're looking up, they're looking for the man. Seamus Harnedy another time could have taken on the shot that wasn't really on. He gave it into the better player in the best position, and Conor Lahan will be disappointed to put that one wide.
This is Stephen Bennett under a little bit of pressure. Sends it across over towards his brother Shane. Ball carried a little bit too much pace. Out over the end line and wide.
Yeah, Waterford will be looking for leaders. You know, Jamie Byrne is doing in the middle of the field. Their backs are playing well, but up front, they're looking very rudderless at the moment. Anthony Nash arguing there that the only player not outside the 21 was a Waterford player, so he shouldn't be penalised because of that, which I suppose is a fair point. But the rule is you have to be outside it.
So Anthony Nash takes the puck out once more. Continues to use that left wing predominantly. Tied to Burke. Moved away the Cork player. Got him out of his way. Anthony Nash comes off his goal line. Gathers. He had to, having come out that far. And he gives it an almighty wallop. Deep into Waterford territory. Batted away on this occasion. Jamie Barron over Farrell's Philip Manning. Under a little bit of pressure. Cork chasing and harassing. Doing the hard work. Once again, it's Stephen Bennett. Damien Cahalane got a little touch. It's half blocked. Picked up by Dara Fitzgibbon. Cork man down injured. Was pushed away. The Cork medical team are trying to get in. Meanwhile, the play continues on. Comes Farrell's Porrick Manning. under pressure. He still managed to get a shot in, and that's over the bar. Score by Pádraig Mahoney, his 5th of the game.
Marty, I only had a look at that out of the corner of my eye, but I think Stephen Bennett's going to be very lucky there. If it was seen, I think he pulled the face guard. If you watch it here, he came back. He wasn't happy with Cahalane. He catches him here. That's a red card. Hasn't been caught by any of the officials here, but you watch it here. Again, he's not happy. He catches him by the face guard there and pulls him to the ground.
See
That's
it there quite plainly.
That's a straight red.
Stephen Bennett should have been punished, Michael, for that.
Well, look at it. That's the rule, and he was agitated. He threw the ball first of all up in his face and tried to strike it, and he was blocked down, and he came back at him from behind. The referee is ordered to look. Didn't see it, and Stephen Bennett very, very lucky there.
Should have been shown a red card. Pull on Damien Cahalane's helmet. Ball is pucked out. Good work by Conor Lahan. He managed to keep it from going out over the sideline. But Waterford have the possession. Little flick back from Austin Gleeson. And Waterford drop it in again. It's 2 against 2. Ball becomes available, and it's Damien Cahalane. It's helping out his cornerman. Still Cahalane trying to get away from Shane Bennett. Still Cahalane picking up Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper drives it into the Waterford half of the field. Ty DeBurka is back there, blinded by the sunshine. Recovers well, steps into the Cork half of the field, flicking it into the middle. Kevin Moran comes across to gather. Cork are there in numbers once more. Good work by the Rebels. Not giving up, chasing, harassing on the ground. Good work by Alan Cadigan. Picked up on this occasion by Luke Meade. Luke Meade trying to get it into the middle. Scooped up by Pádraig Mahoney. Mahoney can't hold on to the possession. The sliotar is just inside the Cork half of the field. Now it comes far as Michael Brick Walsh, guiding it into the middle. Plenty of Cork defenders then, but it runs on to Maurice Shanahan, heading towards the 20. On the 13, tries to steal Maurice Shanahan. Pulls! Goal, Waterford! Maurice Shanahan gets the break and scores a cracking goal.
Well, Marty, how crucial is that passage of play? You know, it was frantic, it was hectic. There was players falling, tackling. There might have looked like there was a few fouls, but you watch it here, a bit of luck that you need sometimes. He loses control of the ball, it breaks off the leg there of Cahalane, straight back into his path, and he sticks it in the net.
He was persistent. The little flick on the wrist was superb. The ball broke just here for him, and he whipped it into the back of the net. Cork defenders will be really disappointed for the first time in this match.
They will be disappointed, but it was a bit of luck, and sometimes you get that, and really Cork had their goal chances, they didn't take them, and that's Waterford's first goal chance, and it's in the net.
Sides are level again. Seamus Harnedy is fouled.
Yeah, he's arguing now he was through on goal, but there's no black card in hurling, and when you see tackles like that, that was cynical. It's going to be a yellow card.
Barry Kelly going to deal with the situation. Cork players were protesting. He's shown a yellow card to Barry Coughlin. Harnedy was heading towards goal. It seemed to have opened up for him. Here it is. As he got by, there was a high challenge. And that was more than a yellow card in my book.
Yeah, it's marginal. He caught him high. He didn't catch him by the face guard like we saw with Stephen Bennett. That probably saved him. But, you know, I actually don't like the black card sometimes, the way it's applied in football early in matches. But that's why it was brought in, for cynical fouls like that, when a lad is in on goal. And really, there should be more of a punishment.
Here comes the fray. And Patrick Horgan pucks it over the bar for his 8th point in the match. And Cork put their noses in front. That was a high challenge.
Yeah, it was close. He's very lucky to stay in the field.
That's potentially 2 red cards for 2 Waterford players right now when you think of Bennett and Barry Coughlin.
The Bennett one is closed book.
That's right.
That's a red card.
Ball is pucked out. Stephen O'Keefe pulled up and out over the sideline off the stick of Christopher Joyce. Let's go down to Donald Grady.
Well, Marty, just looking at the Waterford defence, first of all, Noel Connors had actually switched across on Seamus Harnedy because he was doing very, very well on Barry Collin, but they've switched back again now, possibly because of the influence of Patrick Horgan. And I think Waterford are trying to draw Damien Cahalane out of the game a little bit out to the middle so they have channels to run through. Maybe hence the goal that Maurice Shannon got there a few moments ago.
Ball comes down far as Tommy Ryan. He hits it very high, but he hits it wide as well. 1 point between the teams. 6 times level. 4 in the first half. And thankfully, only 14 minutes gone into the second half. Anthony Nash looks around at the options, changes the direction. Lovely stick work by Conor Lahan. He has the time and the space here to drop it in. Carried a little bit too much weight on that particular ball. And once again, it's Noel Connors that's available and Philip Manning. It's Manning that gives it into the centre. Austin Gleeson going up for it. The two Corkmen go up for it. Bill Cooper is half blocked. Ricochets in towards Alan Cadigan. Picked up by Philip Manning once again. Challenged by Seamus Harnedy. Referee blows his whistle, and it's a free this time for Waterford.
Yeah, crucial stage now, Marty, of the match, obviously. You'd imagine the next couple of scores had Philip Manning, very good wing back, very consistent. Just Harnedy comes across and clips him there, and a free out. But you know, a little bit of composure now. As I mentioned, Waterford with that much up front, they're not winning much possession, and Cork again wasting a few balls there as well in the last few minutes. They started the half very, very well. So the next 5 minutes, a couple of substitutions is going to be crucial in this game.
Stephen O'Keefe takes the free, spreads it over to the far over wing. Kevin Moran can't control it. Sideline ball for Cork. The pace of the game certainly has dropped in comparison to the first half, and trust me, I don't blame the players. It is a hot day.
We're not used to it, Martin. Here's a bottle of Coke after being handed in here. We'll share it when we get a chance.
I'm on the hitch 2-0, Michael.
Brendan Donoghue could turn up anywhere.
Ball comes out for his Patrick Horgan. Good work again as Waterford. Jamie Barr flicks it into the middle. Kevin Moore. Oh, there was a stone wall shoulder. Referee rightly says play on, but my word, you could feel the earth move as Kevin Moore hit the ground, and listen to the earth react with a fantastic point by Conor Lahan, his fourth in this Munster Championship semi-final.
Yeah, and they're arguing that was wide, I don't know, but that's the type of score that can change again. What a shoulder here by Bill Cooper came in, and back to Lahan. I mentioned it already about how he scores the difficult one, and Stephen O'Keefe, certainly that was gone wide, and we have Hawkeye here. We have Hawkeye here in Thurles not used there. That's why it was brought in for those marginal runs. Hard to say from up here, but Stephen O'Keefe was and Pádraig Mahoney was on to the ref about that one.
Puck out from Stephen O'Keefe. And Cork beginning to find their momentum despite that Maurice Shanahan goal. In comes Philip Mahoney. Ends this particular Cork attack. Ball into Spitz. Chasing after this is Kevin Moore. Back minding him is Christopher Joyce. So too is Bill Cooper. Cork seem to have that extra man, that level of intensity. Maurice Shanahan up front all alone. Kept his shoulder on the Cork back. Has knocked off his hurley Mark Ellis. Back comes Damien Callahan. Over fires Dara Fitzgibbon, surrounded by two Waterford players. Lays it off first, Colin Spillane. The Castle Lions man sends it down the wing, down towards Alan Cadigan. First touch is crucial, and Cadigan has it. Give him a little bit of space. He can flick this between the post and over the bar. Alan Cadigan, Douglas, Cork, Southside. Point of the game.
And Marty, I don't think you can understand, he played hurling, how difficult that take was. He was coming full speed, the defender was right up behind him. A brilliant take, and for a lad who hasn't been in the game, that's his first score of the game. He showed great confidence, composure to take that on and stick it over the bar. Super score.
And I was making the point earlier in the first half, the ball just wasn't hopping when it was coming towards him. It would just glance off the grass. So he certainly seems to be sharp. As Waterford go back into the attack, it's Kevin Moran that's available. Moran gives it absolutely everything, but he sends the ball wrong side of the post and wide. 3 points between the teams again. Remember, Cork 18 points, Waterford 112. And there's always a sign of a good side when they concede a goal like Cork did, and they have responded, haven't they, Mike?
They did the very same against Tipperary. Every time Tip got a good score, they went back down the field and got it, and they've been doing this. They've responded very well to the goal now, last possession. But Waterford really struggling for scores. You know, you're looking into the forward line there and you're saying where are they going to come from, whereas Cork looked much more dangerous. They have so many options up front in their attack and so much pace.
Sideline ball for Cork, going to be taken by Mark Coleman. Scored one beautiful point in the first half. That was from a sideline ball. And Waterford are going to make a substitution. This is Patrick Curran, who normally plays corner forward, son of Pat from Cappoquin. And gone off is Shane Bennett. So Patrick Curran in, Shane Bennett is off.
And Stephen Bennett was taken off very quickly there after that incident. Earlier, Tommy Ryan was brought on there, kind of slipped on it, Colin. Barely saw it happening.
Here come Waterford again. But Cork coming to terms as the game progresses. Flicking it forward. Again, nice stick work. Putting the hurley, the slipper, back passing it as such. Christopher Joyce, however, despite his best efforts, the jersey pull was visible to the referee, and that's going to be a free for Cork.
You see there, just a little tug, very soft free from Kevin Moran, but it is a free.
There was no need really to foul him.
No, but I just think Waterford's discipline today is slightly altered. There's been 2 or 3 incidents like that. It creates a half chance for Patrick Horgan. It's a long, long way out, but as I said earlier, his striking distance is never usually a problem. And chance then for the players to regroup and catch their breath.
Kieran Kingston has taken off his son, Shane Kingston, and Michael Cahalane is on from Bandon. Scored the crucial and final goal as the ball is dropped in, ball is wide. Let's go down to the sideline for some sideline reaction. Donald O'Grady.
Yeah, Martin, just looking there at the Cork setup, obviously Waterford are going for goals. They're just leaving one-on-one inside, and you know, with this injection of pace now with their substitutions, they'll be hoping to get at the Cork defence.
Here come Waterford now, from out along the sideline. That is a superb effort. That's the sort of point that the team needs, and Patrick Curran, the substitute, who is a really good corner forward, puts that over the bar. That's Brian O'Halloran actually that's on. Brian O'Halloran is on, and he scores a great point.
Yeah, lovely score from Brian O'Halloran, and you know, they needed that injection in the forward line. Brian O'Halloran very, very pacey, and a great score to settle him into it.
Waterford come again, going for long-range points, but this one is to the right and wide.
Again, a lack of composure there by Waterford. You know, a hit and hope from way out the field. Morris inside one-on-one, looking, crying out for possession. But since half-time, I don't know if one ball has been played in front of Morris Shannon. He starved the possession. The one ball he got, he ended up in the back of the net.
Long puck out again. Oh, great catch by Seamus Carnedy. And he's gone inside. He's trying to get inside. He's being held back. Still Harnedy. He lays it off. There's a chance here for Mike Gallan. And the Bandon man puts it over the bar. For a moment, just for a moment, there was an opportunity possibly for Seamus Harnedy to go for goal and have a rasper. But unselfishly, he laid it off to Michael Cahalane.
Yeah, great catch by Harnedy. He's very strong in the air. Good advantage play by Barry Kelly. Waited to see what anything accrue, and good point at the end. The goal was on.
Cork find themselves under pressure once more. Mark Ellis with Padraig Mahoney. Coming across is Christopher Joyce. Ellis is there to receive the pass and deliver it despite the effort to block. It's one Corkman up front at the moment. That is Patrick Horgan. Seamus Harnedy and Alan Cadigan want the diagonal ball. Take your choice. This is Cadigan battling with Noel Connors. A race for possession. They continue on their battle for possession, but they end up entangled with each other, and Noel Connors seems to be incensed. That is Conor Gleeson, I should say, that's back to Connors, and it was Connor that was tussling with Alan Cadigan, and the free is for Alan Cadigan and for Cork. You can see the entanglement here.
Well, Conor Gleeson wasn't letting, he took his line, he was trying to run onto the ball. He took his line. Cadigan's hand is up as well around him. You know, you could argue that's very 50-50. The referee coming in from behind it, and he's given the free. Gleeson lost his hurl, and he was trying to block the run of Cadigan, so free, and I think it was the right call. I think he stopped him going for the ball.
Waterford going to introduce Dara Fives, and coming off is his brother Shane, as Waterford rearrange their side, knowing now with 13 minutes to go in this Munster Championship semi-final, they need to chase Cork quickly. Meanwhile, Cork are adding to their collection of scores with the point by Patrick Horgan. That's his 9th of the game. 20 points Cork, 113 for Waterford. And here they come, ball into the middle. Coming across his game in Cahalane, and the good interception by Cahalane. He had to be strong, he anticipated well as Brian O'Halloran, the Waterford substitute, was bearing down on goal. This is continuing on down at the other end between Seamus Harnedy and Conor Gleeson. The ball comes down towards Tyg de Burka. De Burka trying to scoop it up. Noel Connors gathers it. Still Noel Connors and pushing. And the referee felt that Patrick Horgan was fouling Noel Connors, and that's going to be a free out for Waterford.
Yeah, I think
Semple is becoming afraid in this game.
Yeah, he was being held up and fouled, and he threw the player against the ground. Look at the decision, wasn't overturned, and you see Conor Lahan, there's a bit of hassle going on inside now in the full forward line as well. Conor Lahan going in towards full forward. He looked to hurt his ankle there. He had an ankle injury coming into the game, but certainly Seamus Harnedy and Conor Gleeson. Yeah. Alan Cadigan, it's still going on since the last ball.
Alan Cadigan and Conor Gleeson.
The heat is getting to them.
Went head to head there, and the referee Barry Kelly is going in to have a word with his umpires down at that end. And after consultation, they got a close-up view of it. That's Michael Coyle and Seamus O'Brien that's down there, both Oliver Plunkett's men. And see what's going to happen as Cork, meanwhile, are going to introduce a substitute. Daniel Carney is coming on, and Dara Fitzgibbon is gone on.
The result is 2 yellows, and I think that's what we're going to get here.
Let's see what's going to happen as Barry Kelly is showing a yellow card already as he's running down the pitch out to the middle of the field. Now, who's the yellow card for exactly? As Barry Kelly is showing 2 yellow cards.
Harnedy.
Seamus Harnedy, and it looks like Dara Fives. So Dara Fives and Seamus Harnedy get the 2 yellow cards. Difficult to see in the sunshine, I can tell you. As the referee blows the whistle, the ball is dropping in. There is a connection, but Waterford have the slither. The referee is right beside him, plenty of Cork backs. Good defending on this occasion by Stephen
Marty will have to look. I thought that was Top Shannon was dragged down there when he caught the ball. We'll get back to it. We'll have a replay in a minute. Here's Harnedy on the attack.
No free, no penalty given as Seamus Harnedy steps up to take a shot from way out the field, and the ball is going to hop out over the end line and wide. Stephen O'Keefe wanted to take it quickly. Ball is dropped out into the middle of the field. Possession now vital. Superbly gathered by Tommy Ryan, and Tommy is fouled, and that's going to be a free in for Waterford.
Yeah, that's a yellow card. That was a very dangerous.
This is the incident again.
This is Tommy Ryan here, and Colin Spillane came in under him. That could have been very, very nasty.
Colin Spillane was already on a yellow. So that is now a red card, and Cork are reduced down to 14 players. More drama in Semple Stadium. And there is still plenty of time for Waterford to level the match with 9 minutes, just less than 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get there. He went in under him, and the ref had no choice to give him a yellow card.
Colin Spillane coming in here, and Brian O'Halloran. Corrig Manning going to take their spree between the Cork 45 and 65 metre line. He hits this, but he hits it to the left and wide.
That's a poor wide.
Scored 5 times, but
here's Maurice Shanahan now.
An earlier incident.
Look, a super catch there in the crowd, and I just for goal here. The arm was around his shoulder. Maybe he went down handy enough, but there was an arm. If you watch Mark Ellis's arm was up around his neck. Just there.
And there was a high
he leaned into
arm
him as well.
Him, all right.
But if it was out the field 30-40 yards, it probably would have been a free in given. It was inside in the square. A big call by Barry Kelly. He didn't give it. And Waterford just hanging in there. A goal will bring them right back into the game, obviously.
Sideline ball at the far side. Another substitute coming on for Waterford. This is Patrick Kern, who now arrives onto the scene. Looked like he was coming earlier. And that's Jake Dillon. Jake Dillon is the player that's coming on. But Jake Dillon on, and Austin Gleeson is the player that makes way. Don't see that too often.
No, he scored 2 great points. One early in the first half, one early in the second half. Outside of that, hasn't been on the ball, hasn't been involved in the game. And, you know, I don't think he'll have any arguments on today. Everyone has a bad day at the office, and today is certainly not a good day for him.
Cork sideline ball is a good one. In towards the middle. Seamus Harnedy not gathering it the first time. Ball comes back to him the second time and hits it from the middle of the field, and that is over the bar. Great play, Seamus Harnedy. It's only a second point of the match, but it's a crucial one with the clock ticking towards 64 minutes.
It is, Marty, but he's always involved. He's very strong, he's very physical. He's gone out to centre forward now, and he's still full of running, and that was a super score. You know, puts that 5 points between them. It's a nice cushion.
Jamie Barr getting the possession and laying it off. Ty de Burke is available. Just took his eye off it, but he's still there. Knocked away off his hurling. Cork regained the possession through Christopher Joyce. Once more, Waterford chasing everything. Jamie Barron, All-Star, 2016. Lovely stick work. Fooled the Cork man and scores the points. It's his second of the game.
Yeah, Marty.
Waterford stay alive.
That's what's been missing though with Waterford. That bit of composure. Jamie Barron is having a great game for the middle of the field, but so many of their forwards trying to do their own thing. They're not backing each other up, support play, not throwing the ball around, and I think Derek McGrath would be very disappointed. And having said all that, you know, coming into the crucial last 5 or 6 minutes, they're still well in this game. There's only 4 points in it.
Still plenty of time. 6 minutes left in the match, or thereabouts. Waterford. Jamie Barron sending along the surface towards Brian. That didn't work for Tommy Ryan. Neither of them got there. Comes back where's Mark Ellis. Anthony Nash sends it into the middle. Dropping just outside the Waterford 45-metre line. Ball becomes loose and available again. Good work on this occasion. Comes from Noel Connors. Noel Connors given the ball initially by Dara Fives. Dara, cleverly, saying it down for his Porrig Manning. Well capable of scoring from here, but the ball is gone to the left and wide. And Waterford at this stage have registered 15 wides in this Munster Championship semi-final.
That's a terrible stat for them. But what I can't understand, Marty, is that Maurice Shannon is inside one-on-one, and they're tipping the ball up along the sideline like that. That's 2 or 3 balls. He's standing in with his arms in the air with frustration inside. We've seen him, how good he is in the air. He gets that 50-50 ball, and he's just not getting it.
Patrick Curtin has been warming up quite a bit, and this sideline is now on the field. And he's on instead of Michael Brick Walsh as that ball goes wide. Less than 5 minutes. Cork 21 points. Waterford 114. 17 points to 21. Puck out from Stephen O'Keefe. Coming down towards the aforementioned Patrick Curran. Ball is dropping in. Anthony Nash comes off his goal line. Great catch by him. Waterford feel that there was a foul off the ball, but the referee didn't give it. Seamus Harnedy knocks it down for his Barry Coughlin. Barry flicks it forward. For his Dara Fives, who wasn't quite expecting the hand pass. It wasn't a great one anyway in the first place. Comes back for Seamus Harnedy. Twists and turns. Under the ground is Conor Lahan, who seems now to have twisted his ankle once again. So Cork is down to 13 men at the moment. They play the ball around over to this side. We're trying to retain possession. Good work here with Daniel Carney. He runs out of space and he runs into a wall, but the wall unfortunately is Waterford, and again there's no need to foul him when
he drew the free. You watch it, there's a hand up and he was gone past him, he was pulled back, and that is a free, and Waterford getting very frustrated on the sideline as well.
Free for Cork as Conor Lahan, with that ankle injury he picked up in training yesterday, 2 weeks, he sensed that it just might be back. And he seems to be in distress here. So change coming
Brian
out for Cork.
Lawton get ready. I think Lahan gave it a bit of a twinge here a few minutes ago. Maybe he should have been taken off then with the rest of the season in mind, but he's obviously damaged it fairly badly now this time, and he's gone off and Brian Lawton in front.
So Conor Lahan, having scored 4 points, get a warm round of applause. Brian Lawton comes on in his place. Cork supporters give one of their own, rightly so, acknowledgement of his contribution as Patrick Horgan takes the free and scores his 10th point of the match. Superb. Cork 22 points, Waterford 114, and the clock ticks towards the 70th minute. Great catch by Christopher Joyce. Under a little bit of pressure, being chased and pursued. The pressure seemed to work in Waterford's favour. Ball into the middle. Great catch indeed as they split open the Cork defence. There's an opportunity here. Right man is Maurice Shannon. He pulls on it. But Cork are there, but their still ball is hobbling. Comes for Anthony Nash, who comes off his goal line. The ball comes out towards Daniel Carney. Gets there just about ahead of Patrick Curran. Sends it down towards Patrick Horgan. Linesman indicates that is a Waterford ball, and Kieran Kingston and Dermot O'Sullivan are furious with the linesman's decision. They had no doubt that that was a Cork ball. 5 points between the teams.
Coolest man in Thurles, the linesman there, never blinked.
Porrig Manning, ball inside into the middle, didn't quite work. Christopher Joyce lays it off. Goes over for Seamus Harnedy. He has the support of Brian Lawton. Lawton in space. Draws back. Harnedy is available and was calling for it clearly. Gets by the first challenge, running out of space. Ball into the middle. It's 2 against 2 up here. There's an opportunity for Cork to add on another score. And that is great work by Luke O'Farrell. Great score.
And Marty, that was made by the work rate again of the Cork forwards. Luke O'Farrell started off over here. He ran 40-50 yards and showed for that ball. And that's the difference between the teams. That work rate, that commitment, that teamwork of Cork is missing in Waterford today. They're just that little bit off the pace. But we saw that with Tip and we said the same thing. This work rate of this Cork team, this is an exceptional Cork team that has been built by Kieran Kingston and Dermot O'Sullivan, and they're showing it again today.
And remember, Michael, with 5 minutes, at least going to be added on, so there's still time. But this is a county that over the last number of years hadn't won a minor under 21. So they're building by and this great work by Kieran Kingston. They thought against Tipperary it might have been just a once-off, but look at what we're seeing here today.
No, it isn't, Marty. UCC playing a big part now too. An awful lot of lads involved down there. Sean O'Halphy and Tom Kenny involved with the freshers down there. John Granger in the college. But also building the development squads, under 15, 16, 17. I think it was 2015. They played 22 development matches, or 27, and they won them all across all age groups in the county. And you can see that work paying off now, and all the good young players coming through.
Sideline cut going to be taken. 70th minute is passed, but there's still 5 minutes left as Michael Cahalan takes it short and it goes out over the end line and wide. So now, can Cork hold on? Can Waterford produce something magical in the next 5 minutes? Puck out from Stephen O'Keefe. Has to be accurate. Remember, Waterford playing with 15, Cork 14 as a result of Colin Spillan's second yellow card. Ball down as Cork play that sweeper at the moment with Christopher Joyce playing that extra man. Gets by the initial challenge, loses the possession. There's a touch on as Waterford chase, pursue everything that moves at the moment. Good work here by Brian O'Halloran. O'Halloran looks around, cuts it into the middle. There's plenty of defenders. Anthony Nash is one. And once again, Anthony Nash gathers the ball and clears it down despite the pressure. Ball is dropping down. Available is Philip Manning. Philip Manning from the middle of the field hits a slither, and that ball is wide. They're not showing, despite what we were saying beforehand, they were further developed. They had more experience. They played in All-Ireland semi-finals last year, but yet driving a ball in from that area is a bit...
Yeah, well, we saw a few things from Waterford. We saw some very poor shooting. You mentioned the wides. That's 16 now, is it? 16 wides from...
16 wides
from Waterford, which is... And some of their fouling, some of their discipline very, very poor as well today. And yet, like, they're only 6 points behind, maybe 7 here now with Patrick Horgan.
Here's Patrick Horgan gathering that ball and sending it to the left of the post and wide. 13 wides for Cork, 16 wides for Waterford. And it's Waterford with possession. They have that numerical advantage on the field, 15-14. Can they make it count? 72 minutes played. 3 minutes of additional time at least going to be added on. Coming across is Stephen MacDonald. MacDonald trying to scoop it away out of the arc, but the referee has blown his whistle and to Waterford. They continue on. They didn't hear the whistle the first time. They've heard it the second time. 23 points to 114. As Cork make another substitution. Coming on is Dean Brosnan, and Dean Brosnan is on for Alan Cadigan.
Yeah, he's gone back into the backside. So I haven't seen Dean Brosnan before in the Cork jersey, but he's gone into the back line, sacrificing one of the forwards at this stage of the game.
He's the third Glen Rovers man on the panel from the Cork County champions. Dean Brosnan, Patrick Horgan. The ball is sent over the bar.
Maurice Shanahan seemed to hurt himself taking the free.
He did, absolutely. Maurice Shanahan has gone down injured, and he has been during this game a serious threat. He was the one that got the goal. It looks like it could be just a simple cramp, but he recovers sufficiently well to stand up and take his place again. 23 points to 115. The clock ticking towards the 75th minute. Crowd along the sideline, and right now they're the Cork supporters waiting anxiously as the game progresses towards the 75th minute. Perhaps Waterford can produce something in the dying seconds. Here's Patrick Curran trying to get through the Cork defensive wall, loses possession. Ball comes back outside. It's 2 against 1 here. Patrick Horgan is one of the two. There's nobody readily available. Has to get by that initial challenge. Nice stick work by Horgan. Draws the challenge. Ball is dropped out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Waterford. 74 minutes played in the match. Surely Cork are in the Munster hurling final 2017. But wait, there is still time. But it has to be a goal or nothing at all. Here comes the effort, and it's brilliantly blocked out once again by Mark Ellis. Playing really well at number 6. Out for a 65.
Yeah, and I presume it's Dermot O'Sullivan's influence with the backs, Marty, but their defending has gone up so much from the last number of years. Man marking, the bravery, the reading it again, the support play. You know, like Mark Coleman has obviously made a huge difference, and Colin Spillane has got 2 yellows, but massive difference in that Cork defence than what we've seen over the last few years.
Dropping the ball in. It's Waterford that have it, and once again it's Maurice Shanahan trying to give it back out to Moore. Blocked superbly. Jamie Barron comes across to try and create something. He's going for the point. He taps it, tap blocked. Cork have it almost once more. And it's Cork in a counter-attack now, and it's Patrick Horgan. Happy, there's nobody up front. There is this man, Michael Cahalane. He's outside the 45. What a finish for Cork. If Cahalane puts it over the bar, he's driven it wide. And the Cork fans are on the field. They have invaded Semple Stadium. I think the referee's whistle is gone. And if it hasn't, he should certainly blow it now, because Cork people are rejoicing. They're back in the Munster hurling final on the 9th of July. It's going to be Cork versus Clare. Where will it be played? I don't quite know right now, but I'm sure that'll be debated tomorrow, the day after. The big news is from Semple Stadium as Derek McGrath congratulates Kieran Kingston. The win over Tipperary was no fluke. Kieran Kingston's team are young, they're teenagers, with a couple of 20-year-olds, but my gosh, as they're hurling in Cork, if you thought they were gone away, you were a fool, because this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I suppose, Marty, growing up, Cork hurling was huge for me. You know, during the 70s, the 3-in-a-row team, Jimmy Barry Murphy was the hero of every young lad in Ireland, and Cork had disappeared. And hurling needs Cork, and you can see the passion. You could sense it before the game. You could see the huge Cork crowd coming down to the match. And this is no respect to football in Cork, but Cork people love their hurling. They absolutely love it, and you can see the excitement. This is the last day against Tip was a quarter-final. This is a semi-final, and they're invading the pitch. They're out there. It means the world to them. And all that any supporter looks for is honesty of effort from every player, and that's what you got from the Cork players against Tipperary and again today. 2 different sorts of games, but 2 manly, hard-working, great teamwork displays by them, and some great finishing, some great defending, everything that you'd like to see. So Waterford, some serious soul searching to do, but brilliant win for Cork.
And a wonderful backroom team with Pat Rhines from Sarsfields, John Myler, Dermot O'Sullivan, The Rock, and Pat Hartnett. Himself won a few All-Ireland medals. And full credit as well to Declan O'Sullivan from Blackrock, who's the strength and conditioning and head physio, because it's a team effort there as well.
It is, Marty, and tomorrow morning now the qualifiers. We're going to have Waterford, we're going to have Tip, we're going to have Dublin, we're going to have Limerick, we're going to have Offaly. There's going to be some serious matches pulled out of the hat there tomorrow morning, and Kilkenny, obviously, forget Kilkenny. So the qualifiers were brought in for this reason. They weren't brought in for one-sided games, and we're going to have a huge championship right through. It's been a brilliant start with Wexford winning. And there's Derek, disappointed obviously, and Kieran Kingston. I know Kieran well, I worked with him 25 years ago in the bank. Very solid fella, and well done to Cork, and Waterford will have their day again in the qualifiers.
Dr. Con Murphy commiserating with Derek McGrath, but it's Cork's day, and Cork are in the Munster hurling final. Look at that scoreline. Waterford 115, Cork 23 points.
Anthony Nash, congratulations. When you see all these Cork fans, how they came on the pitch, I even see David Myler coming up to congratulate you. What does it mean to you?
Look, it's fantastic. I suppose we've been through some troubled times there over the last years and stuff, and the Cork people are paying a lot of money to travel up here to support us, and the support is unbelievable. The support there, we came out into the field, let's say it was 2 or 3 to 1, the Cork, and we're so grateful for people spending their money to come up and giving us support, and it's great elation to see people come onto the field. We're so emotional, it's just you're built up for championship, and it's great, it's absolutely brilliant to see it.
I think that might be our cue to let you go, Anthony. Congratulations.
Well, the Cork supporters, not surprisingly, are in great voice. Congratulations to them. A brilliant performance here today at Semple Stadium. Tomás Mulcahy is with us, of course, here in studio. Tomás, it was actually fascinating to watch the last 10 minutes there, because the Cork supporters were on the sideline, they were in the traps, they were ready to run onto the pitch, and in actual fact, in the end, I don't think they actually waited for Barry Kelly's
No,
to blow the whistle. They were on anyway.
As soon as the ball went by there, they were actually rushing onto the field, right? And it just shows, Michael, Cork people are craving for a bit of success in hurling and in football as well, and particularly from a hurling front. They hadn't had a great 2-year period, maybe since 2013, winning Munster final in 2014. The 2 years after that have been lean by Cork standards. But I think what gives most encouragement, and to me particularly as well, is the style and the brand they're now playing. And I think the Cork public have bought into that. They have some unbelievably talented players, but we seem to go and do a game plan that was kind of that everybody else around the country was doing, rather than concentrate on what we were good at ourselves. And I think this year I give great credit to Kieran Kingston, to all his backroom team. They probably will admit they made mistakes last year the way they were set up, but this time they really are going for the juggler. And from the throw in today, they set the tempo, they moved the ball very, very irrespective of where Waterford were coming with game plan, the extra man back there, they had their game plan to move it, get it into that inside line as quick as you can. And we didn't have the best of performances from the young guys, the new kids on the block, as we say, in Shane Kingston and Luke Meade you know, Darragh Fitzgibbon. But the older guys, when they were questioned, Harnedy, Connolly Han, Horgan, really stood up to the plate in the second half there when it was difficult, down to 14 men and stuff like that. So great credit due to them. In Munster final, an awful pity though, Parky Queef isn't ready to facilitate this right, you know.
But I mean, don't care where you're going to play, because they're going to be in it anyway.
We'll come to Thurles.
Commiserations to Waterford. No shame in defeat in this one. I mean, I know it's disappointing, but they gave it their best, and it just wasn't good enough, I guess, on the day.
Yeah, I don't know about that. To me, look, I'll be honest, it was a poor display I've seen for a long, long time. We look leaderless in the second half. We look leaders on the pitch and on the sideline, to be honest with you. And look, the players and manager will have to sit down and maybe have a bit of a blowout or whatever and seriously look in the mirror and say what's going wrong. That was the one fear I had over the last few years, the defensive way we were kind of playing. If teams got ahead of us, will we come back at them? And you saw in the second half, we were rudderless in attack, basically. We'd no imagination, there was no flair, no exuberance. That's what you would associate with Waterford, the teams I played on.
Sure.
We won most of the titles in that time as well. But I think, look, I'll be honest, it's definitely a lot of soul searching to go on, and it was a very, very, very poor second half.
Liam? Tomas loved it, Ken hated it. What did you think?
Yeah, look, I mean, we treated it to another good game, but you never really got the feeling, even after Waterford got the goal, they were only hanging on, and they're hanging in there all the time. They lack cohesion today, no teamwork, apart from Jamie Barron, you know, who to me took the battle to Cork. Outside of him, I don't think they came. And for that team who were so close to getting to an All-Ireland final last year and nearly turning over Kilkenny, to come at that level of a display today is disappointing. So they have a lot of soul-searching to do, because they only have 2 weeks to recover here, and they're in a qualifier, potentially facing off against the Kilkenny. So very, very disappointing. But for Cork, again, scored 23 points. It could have been 223, 323, and again on the back of a 227 the last day against Tipperary. To be fair to Kieran Kingston and to all of his team, they've really got Cork coming at a serious pace. They've got pace, they've got youth, but they've got a good element of steel to their play. So very impressive again by Cork. Full value for their victory.
Okay, we have another break to take here on the Sunday game. Now, ahead of that, there is also another chance for you to enter our competition.
RTE Sport are giving you the chance to win a trip to this summer's Galway Race Festival. You and a friend will be treated to a 2-night stay at the 4-star Hotel Merrick in Galway City. You'll be treated to dinner in the restaurant, number 15 on the square, on a night of your choice. Plus, there's also VIP tickets to the Galway Races Festival on July 31st and August 1st, with champagne reception, lunch and lots more. And so you can make the most of it, there's also €1,000 spending money. For your chance to win, answer this. Which county did Dublin defeat to win the 2016 All-Ireland football final? Was it Meath, Roscommon or Mayo? To enter, call 1517 71 71 82 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57001. Calls from the Air network will cost €2.03. Calls from other networks may be higher. Viewers in the north can also text 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on June 19th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
For many older people, being able to drive is little short of a lifeline.
I'm 101. I'm a bit surprised to be driving, but I don't seem to be making mistakes.
My 86-year-old mother was caught speeding.
I can't see me speeding up the road.
If we had a transport system that was any good, she might have been able to use that one, but unfortunately we don't.
Too old for the road? Monday at 9:35 on RTE1.
Hi. Have you booked? No. Excellent. Follow me.
Pump the gym, pump it up. When your feet are stomping, and the gym is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. A place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight.
If Carlsberg did haircuts, they would probably be the best in the world.
He's got the cash. He's got a condo. He's got a car. He's got a career. But that still doesn't mean he gets you. Time to shine. Extra.
At Ulster Bank, we know it takes hard graft and dedication to keep your business moving. Having a deep understanding of what you do is something we take pride in. We get to know you, not just your business. And when you're part of our international network, you'll get access to the support you need both here and overseas. Choose Ulster Bank Business Banking and make our team yours. Visit ulsterbank.ie to chat to us today, because helping each other is help for what matters.
Because people who fight cancer are amazing. Every special gold Ballygown bottle makes a difference, raising funds for essential cancer care. Choose to be part of it.
Hello, Ulster.
I'll need a hotel for tonight, a nice one.
No problem, sir.
Thanks. Your hotel's booked and your car's all clean.
Thank you, Chris.
This is not a car. This is confidence. This is new Insignia. Opel, the future is everyone's.
Be inside the game with Sky Sports half price for 6 months. And enjoy exclusive live games from the GAA All-Ireland Championships. Get in-depth analysis from our panel of experts, including James Horan, Jim McGuinness, Peter Canavan, JJ Delaney and Jamesy O'Connor. Giving you more of the GAA you love. So, be inside the game. Join or upgrade to Sky Sports, now half price for 6 months. Search Sky GAA today, or Sky customers, press the red button. Sky, believe in better.
We may not have the big things, but the stuff we do have, we love.
Whatever you love, whatever you're into, look after it with car and stuff from Liberty Insurance. Quote and buy online today and enjoy up to 5 weeks free car insurance. Liberty Insurance. That's insurance the way it should be.
Littlewoods Ireland, proud sponsor of the GAA Hurling Championship.
Here at Semple Stadium in Thurles, Cork have indeed defeated Waterford on a scoreline of 23 points to 1 goal and 15 points. And Cork now, of course, will face Clare in the 2017 Munster hurling final on the 9th of July. In attendance here, by the way, of 33,163. And all the Cork supporters don't seem to be interested in going home. They're still all down on the pitch and enjoying this, obviously, to most. Lads, it was level at half-time. But the start that Cork made in the second half and some of the points they scored were critical, obviously, to this victory.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned at half-time, would it get to Cork on the basis of those chances that they had in the first half, the goal-scoring chances, a couple of points, that maybe they should have been 5 or 6 points ahead. Would it get to them? Would it come out? But they started the second half incredibly so. I think they got 4 points in a row and really put the pressure back on Waterford to actually take the game back to them again. So great credit, and I think this young lad has been a joy to watch, Mark Coleman. But how many times have we seen Lehan do this? Out on the touchline, off the left-hand side, bang over the bar. And it was a great start to that period. As I said, Patrick Horgan grew in stature as the game went on as well. And a couple of these guys showed a bit of leadership, Michael, that was needed up front when the younger guys maybe had a quieter day, as I said. But it was fantastic. And I think like Kieran will take an awful lot of credit as well on the basis of the movement of these players, the forward. They're all over the place, right? There's a lot of pace there, there's a lot of movement there, and there's a lot of skill there, and they just don't stand static. They keep moving the defenders.
Look, Ken, Cork deserved their win. I think any neutral would accept that. But there was one incident in it when the scores were, there was 4 points between them, and Waterford had a penalty shout. Were you shouting for this? Because certainly some of us thought, you know, that's a bit dodgy.
Yeah, it could have been given. I suppose, look, we were probably resorting to pumping the balls. Look, Morris was probably our only option for most of the game. A great catch again. If you look at it closely, it could have been given. It was a hurley around the kind of shoulder and the neck. Yeah. And Morris does fall into it, which sometimes it can even be a free out there. But I do have seen him given for that, and it could have gotten Waterford back in the game. It was possibly our only chance of getting back in the game, maybe from a penalty or a scrappy enough goal. But I thought Morris tried hard.
If you put the hurley up there,
well, that's the point. You know, to me,
you're dicing with it.
Yeah, to me, it's a penalty. You know, no, I would say Morris maybe, if anything, didn't do himself a favour because I think he came and he caught it and he went to bring him and he went to bring him with him. But to me, that, you know, when you see it slow down there, the arm is up. If that happened in any other part of the field, to me, it's a free. So therefore, on that evidence there, I'd certainly say Stonewall penalty.
I'd echo that as well. I think it was a penalty as well at a crucial time, 4 points in the match as well, right? You know, so.
But it wasn't. That's the way it's finished.
It wasn't. It did. Did it make a difference to the game? Got back to a point. Yeah, would have given Waterford a serious lift, you know. But referee to me made some crazy decisions to me. I must say, being honest with you, one that he didn't spot down there on the left hand side of the line as well, with a pull in the helmet, and there was a couple of strange decisions. But to me, definitely that was a penalty.
Are you going to win the Munster final?
Look, it's great to be there, Michael. It's another step, you know, and it's what the Cork public demand from a hurling side of things. That's what they've been brought up and look forward to. Yeah. It's another day in the sun, and we'll travel to Thurles, I'm sure, in big numbers.
I hope the sun isn't as warm as it is today, but anyway. All right, lads, just time, I think, to remind you that Des and the gang, they will have all of the action from a busy weekend in the Championship tonight. They are back at the regular time of 9:30 on RTE2. Now, our next live offering is next Saturday night. That is Monaghan and Down. They battle it out for a place in the Ulster football final. That's from 6:30, also on RTE2. And next Sunday, we make our first visit of 2017 to headquarters as Dublin take on Westmeath in the Leinster football semi-final at Croke Park. And that is from 3:40, and that's on RTE1 television. Hope to see you for that, but for the moment, a big congratulations, of course, to Cork, and my thanks to Liam, to Tomas, and to Ken. And until the next time, bye-bye.